difficult state to pronounce. There are a few states out there like that. But I am working on it. I'm taking speech classes. Hopefully by that time this year, hopefully I'll be able to pronounce that correctly.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
You're causing a major disturbance on my time.
If I'm here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time?
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station. Streaming live from HitThatLine.com.
There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but they ain't but one Razorback. Number one.
This is The Morning Rush.
Borderline erotic.
With Ty Richardson.
Sunshine. That's cool. I can dig it.
And Tommy Kraft.
Do I look happy?
What's wrong?
Lloyd!
The Morning Rush starts right now.
So you felt a little restless on Saturday without Arkansas football. God willing, we'll be back watching the Razorbacks this Saturday against Missouri. You did get some Arkansas basketball, but to me, it was just kind of an appetizer being in the midst of football season. You're ready for Arkansas football to be back, and it is back. And you get the Missouri Tigers, a rivalry game, whether you like it or not. We'll talk about that. We got to talk about the basketball win that the Razorbacks got on Saturday night against North Texas. And we got to talk about a comparison I think was pretty relevant as I was watching on Saturday in Brandon Allen and Felipe Franks. And all that is coming up here on a Hot Take Monday.
Yeah, glad to be here. Brought to you by the all-new Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas. All the top brands to help you get out and enjoy camping, like Grand Design, Alliance, KZ, the new solar-powered Vibe. You'll find it. They've got new inventory in stock, so if you're looking for someone that has selection, you'll find it at Wheels RV. Relax and know that your new RV will stay like new year after year with a lifetime warranty and their mobile service shuttle. It's at Wheels RV, 5 miles west of Exit 72 on 549 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
So while you did get to watch college football on Saturday and you got some NFL on Sunday, I feel like my thirst wasn't quenched. My hunger wasn't satisfied, being that it is still football season within college football. We didn't get to watch the Razorbacks with the COVID pushback and the rescheduling. So now we get to see that against the Missouri Tigers. You had your Thanksgiving left over. Did you watch any of that golf match at all? And I didn't either.
I didn't get to watch any of that. I had a football game I was working on Friday, so my afternoon was kind of chewed up. I did not watch that. We did the show, and then I had some things running around. But no, I did see
that on
some
Saturday.
I thought it was on Friday.
Okay.
But I did not make an appointment with myself to watch that, but I thought that was on Friday.
Charles Barkley and Phil Mickelson.
I did see the highlights and some stuff that was out there with some of the banter between Charles and Shaq and his normal NBA studio crew that he was going back and forth, and Phil and Charles put a pretty good whooping on him. So which really means Phil did. Charles didn't help.
Did they use one of Charles's shots?
Probably didn't. Not one hole, not one shot.
I didn't watch. I just assumed you did since you're the kind of the residential golf guy on the show.
That was not as well promoted. I mean, I knew it was going on. They did not really hype that up as much as they have some of the previous matches. And honestly, without Tiger being in it, only one real professional golfer in Phil Mickelson. I know Steph Curry's a good golfer, but he's not a professional golfer. If he was, he'd be doing that too. Peyton and Steph, they just didn't draw me in. It wasn't appointment TV for me.
I'd like to see Michael Jordan compete in one of those. I think that would draw you. Yeah. You've mentioned Tiger Woods drawing an audience. I think that if you brought Michael Jordan into the fold somehow, some way, I think that would be quite an entertainment value that you definitely have to attract. But it was a little odd not having Razorback football. Now the Iron Bowl was on, and it wasn't really what you're used to it being, with Alabama dominating the Auburn Tigers. And you look at some of the other games that we got to watch. Notre Dame and North Carolina bouted against each other. But, I mean, just to me, it's not a college football Saturday without having the Arkansas Razorbacks on my screen.
I watched the Egg Bowl, watched a lot of that. That was fairly competitive and a fun game to watch, although it's not two great teams. That's always a fun game to watch, and we know that kind of the undoing of two coaches, two programs, and a lot of things that unfolded after last year's Egg Bowl. They went through a lot of that chronologically during that game. But yeah, there was some games worth watching. Unfortunately, like you said, the Iron Bowl was kind of a yawner, and you expected that, and that's exactly what Nick Saban, who was not there, wanted to see for watching from his house or wherever he was sequestered. But yeah, it was an unfulfilling, unsatisfying weekend, but it felt different than a normal weekend that your team is on a bye weekend, because you felt like you're supposed to be playing, you're supposed to be out there. And then obviously late Friday you got the official news of the reschedule and the reshuffling, and now we have a time that came out yesterday for this game for this weekend. We know it'll be an early game, so you feel like you're back in the saddle again, so to speak.
And at least Texas lost.
Yeah.
They lose to Iowa State at home 23-20. Brock Purdy and company come in, and I heard Richard Davenport made this point. Texas should beat Iowa State every single year with the fertile recruiting base that they have, and yet Matt Campbell and company come to town, to Austin, and beat Sam Ehlinger. And if you're Sam Ehlinger and you're, following the Sugar Bowl after their win against Georgia, and I think he was a sophomore, and he's like, we're back, and then they have the season this past year, and then they have this season. This is not the way that's going on. And with Vanderbilt letting go Derek Mason, we've seen that South Carolina's already let go of Will Muschamp. I truly wonder if we talked about all offseason, hey, athletic departments, they're not going to pull the trigger on these coaches. There's too much buyouts. There's not enough money. But we've already seen it within 2 SEC programs, which now Vanderbilt's athletic department is not exactly a well full of just endless money. And then you look at the other side, South Carolina, I can't tell you the finances there. But I wonder with Texas struggling, and again, this loss, and Matt Campbell's a great coach for Iowa State Cyclones, but to me, I'm really curious to see if Texas ultimately decides that Herman's not their guy.
I've been wrong about this so far in the SEC. I was, one of the first to beat the drum of, hey, ADs aren't going to be quick to pull triggers this year because of the finances of what's going on. And, you point out the two schools in the SEC. Listen, if South Carolina and Vanderbilt can fire their coaches, Texas certainly can fire their coach. So
that was my thought as well.
If that can happen, then and I don't know the buyout situation for Derek Mason. Vanderbilt doesn't have to release all their information, being a private school, the way a public school does with the Freedom of Information Acts. But I would imagine if they can afford it, Texas can more than afford it.
I would think that is probably the case, but as we've seen so far, anything can happen in 2020. And
I still don't think there's as many on the carousel this year as there would have been maybe in a normal year, though.
I don't think you're going to have any arguments there based on just the athletic departments and
still
the lack
surprised two mid-year firings in this league, though.
And the question I have, and we'll get into this more coming up with Derek Mason and Will Muschamp, if you are truly going to let someone go, I don't know how the contract is worded or how the buyout works, and maybe they were just sick and tired of it, but why fire them early when the buyout is potentially more? Why not just wait till the season's in? Are you really that ready to get the search started, get maybe it's something I'm not seeing, and I've never seen a process like this before, and I say that watching Chad Morris get fired midseason last year. So
yeah, it's
sometimes
I say
midseason and the season.
Basically, well, not quite the same time. Chad was fired a couple of weeks prior to that. Sometimes when enough is enough, enough is enough. Losing will always get you fired, and that's exactly what's happened at Vanderbilt. It's what happened with Chad Morris here, and despite a pandemic, losing will still get you fired, and that's exactly what's
displayed in Derek Mason and Will Muschamp so far in the Southeastern Conference.
Hey, how would you like $15,000 to pay your rent or your mortgage for the next year? Go to hitthatline.com and fill out the form. You could win that exact prize, and we'll give it away in a couple of weeks from Nick and Ellie Gladwell, real estate agents, and Chambers Bank. We're also giving away $250 to Doe's Eat Place and a $250 Walmart gift card. All you have to do is sign up. You can enter once a day, every day, for this great prize of $15,000, plus the local prizes of the gift certificate to Walmart and Doe's Eat Place. Just enter online. Again, hitthatline.com. Look for the tab that says free rent. All the rules and rules and details are right there as well for you. It's all this year, home for a year, free from Nick and Ellie Gladwell and Chambers Bank and hitthatline.com.
Coming up, Arkansas got a double-digit win over North Texas on Saturday night. We'll discuss that next on a Hot Take Monday.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Eagle's Nest is coming in hot.
When you're looking for outdoor power equipment, head to R-Track, where we've got the area's best selection of tractors and mowers. Check out our side-by-side UTVs, Argo Amphibious XTVs, and Hammerhead go-karts. We rent professional quality equipment and service everything we sell. Stop by today. Get the R-Track advantage.
Off I-40 at exit 58 at 219 East Taylor Road in Clarksville. You can check out their inventory online at rtrack.com.
Frankrow Furniture at 405 4th Street in Barling is your made-in-the-USA furniture, bedding, and appliance store, proudly supporting American jobs and industry. Come in and see Aaron or Tyler about made-in-the-USA Speed Queen washers and dryers, furniture from Eads Brothers, Catnappers, Southern Motion, Best Home Furnishing, and Union Furniture. In-store no credit check financing available. Find them on Facebook or at frankrowfurniture.com. Frankrow Furniture, best seats in the house.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland. I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Link and Outalink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Make a hot spring spa part of your day-to-day routine and discover what it means to get more out of your day. Burton Pools and Spas is your local hot spring spa dealer. Hot Spring Spas, the #1 spa brand, helps reduce stress, ease muscle pain, and helps you get a better night's sleep. Invest in yourself and get more out of each day with a new Hot Spring Spa at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out at the web at artriallawyers.com.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Every day, 22 of our heroes take their own life. The effects of military service can be too much.
I'll cover you. I'll cover you. Let's move.
You were ready to fight for them in war.
I got you. I got you.
Are you ready to fight for them now? If you know a veteran that could use a little help, call 1-800-542-1031 today.
Deer hunters, it's prime time, and the Deerwoods are the place to be. Jelco Outdoors has all the supplies and gear to make your hunt one to remember. Men's, women's, and children's boots and clothing to keep you warm and dry. Tree stands, scents, calls, safety vest, firearms, archery. Jelco has it all for you. Best of luck to all hunters. Stay safe, and remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Did you know that you can get your car serviced or repaired without ever leaving your house? All you have to do is call Jody's Auto Service Center at 479-649-3399. Jody's will pick up your vehicle, service or repair it for you, and return it fully disinfected to your driveway. Pickup and delivery is free for jobs $75 or more. Jobs less than $75 can be picked up and returned for a $10 fee. Let Jody's Auto Service Centers handle all your service and vehicle repair needs. Call 479-649-3399. Jody's Auto Service Center.
ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
Double pass. Yes, it is. Cedric Washington fires it in the end zone. Felix Jones backs up. Touchdown, Arkansas.
Video streaming live on Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube.
The only thing that I watch on Facebook is the Morning Rush. That's it.
Arkansas managed to get a big win against the North Texas Mean Green, leading to a 2-0 record so far this season, and we'll get in that coming up here on the Morning Rush.
Hey, we're brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Ty, one of your favorite places, particularly on Fridays, to go hang out for happy hour and everything. They got the new sauces, too, you can try. If you've always liked pizza on game days, but you like wings as well, you can combo that up a little bit at Buffalo Wild Wings with a new pizza sauce. So now the game day decision of pizza versus wings is easier than ever at Buffalo Wild Wings. Try the new pizza sauce with your wings. Also, lemon pepper is now on the menu. Orange sauce, which comes with a fortune cookie, and the new Carolina Reaper. This is the new captain of the sauces at B-Dubs. It's the new blazing sauce. Try all four at any Buffalo Wild Wings in Little Rock, Fort Smith, Sherwood, Jonesboro, and in Conway.
Connor Vanover didn't necessarily impact the team a ton offensively, but his defense was really, really solid on Saturday night. Had 6 blocks, 16 rebounds in the basketball game, and probably altered another 7 or so shots where North Texas, their guys had to continuously think about the 7-3 player, and he was really pumped up, had a tip dunk at a point in the game, had an oop he caught from Jalen Tate. He also had a rebound which he slammed down, and this was a guy, again, that just had one of his better performances. I mean, he's only played in 2 games so far this season, but his best performance. I say that, but offensively, he stacked up 4 threes against Mississippi Valley State, but defensively, definitely his best performance to date.
I think you'd take the 15 rebounds any night and feel like you were going to win a lot of ball games when he can clean the glass like that.
Career high, by the way.
I was hoping, I was hoping he could find a couple easy buckets late when it became apparent. You know, he's got an easy double waiting on him. He could find a couple, offensive putbacks or something around the basket to get to 10 points when he was sitting there with 6. And I'd like to see him get to that double. I guess he nearly could have gotten there with block shots too, but. He's going to have some double-doubles this year just because of rebounds and points. So look for him to have, I don't know how many this year, 6, 8, I don't know. But he's going to have some double-doubles to his credit this year.
And a lot of people were wondering, Jalen Williams didn't participate in this game based on the rotation. When Connor's playing as he did with the defensive prowess, it's going to be hard to keep him off the floor. And I doubt, maybe I'm wrong, but I doubt you'll see many 2 big men lineups with both the combination of Jalen Williams and Connor this season.
I think it just depends on who you're playing, what the matchup's going to be. But I think you're right, and it probably slows down the pace they want to play at in transition if you have both of those guys out there.
One of the things Eric Musselman mentioned, you brought up transition, is when Connor's getting these blocks, they really didn't. Now, Adrio had some blocks last season, don't get me wrong, but they didn't have just this huge force in the middle. And I know Connor's a little slender and stuff, but one of the things Eric Musselman has said about Connor's impact is when he blocks a shot or gets a steal or something like that, that gets them quicker out in transition. So I think you're going to see a lot more transition, not only with the depth this season, but also when you have Connor blocking these shots, that's a quick turnaround going the other way.
Yep, and I enjoyed watching him in the Mississippi Valley State game and how he handled him being Connor Vanover at the transition. There's a lot of times where the ball went inside, it was a dribble drive. He would start fading back and getting back on defense a little bit earlier sometimes. So his transition game is going to be fun to kind of watch and see how they handle him, and because he's not the fastest up and down the floor. He's not horrible, but as I said in the last segment, he's not Daniel Gafford either, who ran the floor very well for a big guy.
And as a big man, you're taught to run to the paint, but with Connor, you can't really do that as much because he's going to be a slow trailer from behind, and if you give him all this space, he's going to line up and hit a three and get a bunch of wide-open threes. Didn't necessarily have that in this past game, didn't get that many opportunities, but when you play defense like he did, he's going to continue to get those opportunities, especially if he's the one that's kind of igniting the break with these different blocks like he had against the Mean Green.
And the transition game was different. If you looked at in the stat chart, in the stat package, in the spot chart there where it shows where the shots are made and missed from, Arkansas, where in the previous game made a lot of shots from the wing or the elbow in three. I think they only made 2 shots the entire game, left or right, from those spots on the floor. They took like 16 attempts. So much different game on where Arkansas was executing shots from. Clearly they had the hot hand against Mississippi Valley State. Shots just weren't falling, and that's where defense has got to win you. Got to win your ball games.
North Texas never led throughout the basketball game. They only shot 36%, and as you mentioned, the defense needs to continue to travel. You know, you play 2 games at home. You want to see this not only in Bud Walton Arena, but at the other venues you play, particularly in the SEC. And we saw that Connor played a lot of minutes in this basketball game. I think what you said, 34?
34
Is that how many he
minutes,
played?
yeah.
So I don't know how many times we'll see that this season. Now, if he plays like that, I think we're going to see it more often than not. Vince Jackson didn't play a lot. You didn't see a lot of minutes for KK Robinson, but this lineup is going to continue to be tinkered with, and I don't know if we're necessarily going to have a solidified starting lineup or solidified rotation. And if we do, I don't know what point that's going to be, because Musk said after the game this roster is going to be fluctuating. Not the roster, excuse me. The lineup's going to be fluctuating, and so you're going to continue to see different pieces fit here, fit there, and I which is fine as long as they keep winning. You don't really care if the starting roster is set in stone or not.
Well, and to give a point or a finer point on your juxtaposition here, Connor Vanover had 18 minutes in Game 1 versus the 34 in Game 2. Jalen Williams, who did not play on Saturday against North Texas, played 20 minutes, played half the game in Game 1. Now, when you're when you're leading by 60 and 70 and you ultimately win by 80, I mean, a lot of guys get to play. But, Jalen Williams was playing quality minutes early when, I don't know if the game was ever in doubt, but when the game was much more competitive against Mississippi Valley State. And they knew going in, though, what kind of game they were going to have in their first one.
And there's going to be times, you didn't necessarily see it on Saturday, there's going to be times that Connor's going to get pushed around a little bit because of his size, because of his stature. Yes, he may be 7'3", but he doesn't necessarily have a lot of meat on their bones. He still needs to add muscle if he wants to be a really, really good SEC college basketball player. It's a completely different type of challenge when you go up against guys that Kentucky and Tennessee. By the way, both those games are on the road this season.
And by the way, we should point out, because we should always point this out, Kentucky lost.
They did to the Richmond Spiders yesterday, which is always fulfilling. Like Texas lost, Kentucky lost. It was a good weekend for us all.
You know, they say there's no such thing as a free lunch. That's just simply not true. You can sign up for free lunch from Hardee's and hitthatline.com. Just go to our website. Hardee's in Northwest Arkansas in the River Valley wants to give you and your lunch office for free for you and up to 15 of your workmates. All you got to do is go to hitthatline.com, enter the contest. You can enter once a day, every day, and once a week on halftime. We'll select a winner for free lunch for your office place. All you got to do, again, is sign up at hitthatline.com. It's the Hardee's Lunch Bunch from hitthatline.com and Hardee's in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Coming up, we will get into some quick-hitting headlines here on the Morning Rush. And I was watching Brandon Allen yesterday starting for the Cincinnati Bengals. There's some comparisons I want to make with him and Felipe Franks. That's next on the Morning Rush.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
Hi, this is Jan. Thanks for calling Toyota.
Hi, Jan. I heard Toyotathon is on.
It sure is. We've got great year-end deals on Camry, RAV4, Tundra, Highlander, and more. Do you hear that?
That would be my mom. I'm home for the holidays, and apparently she's still eavesdropping on my calls like she used to.
What was that again about year-end deals?
Mom.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Okay. And did I mention every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our 2-year or 25,000-mile maintenance plan? It's happening again.
Dad, hang up the phone.
Toyotathon is on now. Come in today. Tell your mom.
During Toyotathon, qualified buyers can get 0% APR financing for 60 months or a total bonus of $2,750 on a new 2021 Toyota Tundra Special Edition. Toyota, let's go places. Toyota Care covers normal factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever occurs first. Visit buyatoyota.com for details. Offers available in select states and end 11/30/20.
Make a hot spring spa part of your day-to-day routine and discover what it means to get more out of your day. Burton Pools and Spas is your local hot spring spa dealer. Hot Spring Spas, the #1 spa brand, helps reduce stress, ease muscle pain, and helps you get a better night's sleep. Invest in yourself and get more out of each day with a new hot spring spa at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
You can be the hero of the office. Just go to hitthatline.com and enter to win the Hardee's Lunch Bunch Contest. Every week, one lucky listener wins lunch from your local Hardee's restaurant for up to 15 people at your job site or workplace. It's easy to sign up. Just click on the Hardee's Lunch Bunch Contest button, give us your information, and you're entered just like that. Every Thursday, we announce a winner during halftime. Win free lunch for all your work buddies. The Hardee's Lunch Bunch from Hardee's, ESPN Arkansas, and hitthatline.com.
Randall Ford is excited to announce their state-of-the-art mobile service van, stocked with all the latest tools and technology needed to service your vehicle. Everything from oil changes, warranty repair, battery, software updates, brake jobs, and so much more. All is done with your convenience and safety in mind. We'll come to your office or home to provide professional service the Randall Ford way. Stop by today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or check us out online 24/7. RandallFord.com. Ford, the #1 selling brand in America.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time, every time.
Come see what's new at the Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. In stock now, irons from TaylorMade, Mizuno, along with new woods and irons from Callaway. Also in stock, the RTX Zip Core wedges and Spider putters. The Golf Nut carries a great line of shoes, apparel, and accessories for your everyday golfing needs. As always, check Facebook for our daily specials. Work on your game in our indoor simulation base, or play a round of golf on great courses like Pebble Beach or Bethpage Black. The Golf Nut, Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994.
You could win a year of free internet from Wave Rural Connect. Here's how it works. If you sign up and are contracted between October 1st and December 31st, 2020, you have a chance to win 1 year of internet based on the internet speed you signed up for. That's it. So what are you waiting for? Call 1-833-4WAVE-RC or go online, waveruralconnect.com, to get details and sign up. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
Oh my gourd, folks. Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources. This month, I want to say thanks. So I'm on a mission to make car buying easy as pie and help you snag a sweet deal on one of our Rath Road Ready vehicles, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. This month, you could drive a nicer, newer car and save up to $4,150. That's a lot of dough. So if your old ride is flaky, crusty, burnt, or rusty, don't let it squash your happiness. Trade it for a nicer, newer car now, even if you still owe money, and save up to $4,150. Plus, my For the People approval process makes financing your nicer, newer car easy as pie. Keeping the car you have? Get it ready for winter in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Deals this delicious won't last long, so visit us today at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Mallett steps up, heaves it right. He's got a man open. It's caught for Arkansas. It's Greg Child. Touchdown. It is a touchdown.
Yep. Wow. Streaming live at hitthatline.com.
Got the game time for the Arkansas Razorbacks and the Missouri Tigers on Saturday. Also got the game time for the basketball game against Lipscomb on Saturday as well. We'll tell you about it coming up here on a Hot Take Monday.
Yeah, it's brought to you by Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas. All the top brands to get you out and camping and loving life right now, like Grand Design, Alliance, KZ, and the all-new solar-powered Vibe. And with a lifetime warranty on every new unit and their mobile service shuttle, hey, relax and know that your RV will stay like new year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of Exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Hey, seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
Got the announcement yesterday from the SEC office that Arkansas will play the Missouri Tigers 11 a.m. on the SEC network. Arkansas opened up as a 3-point underdog, depending on what Vegas service you look at, and not surprising to see them once again. They were slated originally at 11 a.m. when this game was supposed to be played, and now it's back at that.
Yeah, and, this I don't say surprised me, but I thought with the way the schedule worked out, they have really moved a lot of pieces around, took games that were already on the board, off the board, like the Missouri-Mississippi State game, in order to get things to kind of fit. They're just trying to make sure every team gets 10 in, and they really want to make sure this Alabama-LSU game got in this weekend. You were kind of early to call that this might happen, getting this Bama, taking the Arkansas-Bama game off to put this LSU game on, but they made sure Arkansas had a game this weekend and didn't go another week without a game, and that was my concern, is that Arkansas would go 2 weekends without a game, and we've seen teams in this league, including Bama, including LSU, go as far as 21 days in between games, and fortunately Arkansas won't have to go that far. We'll find out a little bit later today, I guess, when Sam visits with the media about kind of where they're at personnel-wise.
Yeah, and I really want to know. I don't know how much intel we'll actually get out of that, but hopefully we'll get some as far as where they stack up when you're talking about who can play on Saturday. So that's 11 a.m. The Lipscomb basketball game is going to be at 5 p.m., so you'll get a little Arkansas basketball and a little Arkansas football. Chuck's going to be on call, and Quinn, as obviously, are going to be on call for the football game, and then Phil's actually going to be doing the basketball game on Saturday night. So excited to hear from Phil call the Lipscomb game. And you get a little combination. I love these combos when you get into November and December with Arkansas football and basketball being on the same day. You just get this flurry of both sports that you're more than happy to partake in.
Yeah, so, kind of almost back-to-back in these games. By the time the post-game show will end, we'll have a real brief wrap-up show that we're going to do right here on ESPN Arkansas in between the two broadcasts, and then 4:30 will be the pregame time for the basketball game. So there won't be long in between the postgame for football and the pregame for basketball.
UT Arlington, they'll take on them 8 o'clock on Wednesday. Got a late tip-off on Wednesday night. So that's kind of your game times as far as it goes this week.
As a radio man, as a morning radio man, I don't like the 8 p.m. start, but it is what it is.
Well, Jenkins is going to be kind of our member that's going to the game. And I asked him, I was like, buddy, you want to go to the game for this? And he said, yeah, sure. Trust me, man, I've been to a few of those. They're late when you get back and stuff, so it's just a matter of managing to wake up that next morning.
About 11 o'clock when you get home.
I need to put the phones on automation Thursday morning.
Get an autopilot in
Get
there.
autopilot in here for Thursday.
Yeah.
Get up early. Biggest news coming out of the SEC, Derek Mason has been let go by the Vanderbilt Commodores. And the question I had immediately as soon as this happened, we've seen Will Muschamp be fired. Now Derek Mason is the next one off to be offed. Who's next? And these are two high-profile SEC. I say high-profile. Vanderbilt doesn't really have high profile when it comes to their football program, but they are two SEC programs. Now you got two open jobs in the Southeastern Conference. Jordan Rodgers, former Vanderbilt quarterback, current SEC Network analyst, he said he likes Barry Odom to at least take a look at that job. I don't know if there's any connection, any way that would actually work or happen there. But what I was thinking about as Texas lost to the Iowa State Cyclones on Saturday, is there a chance that Tom Herman, which would be the biggest job opening in college football, is there a chance that Texas parts ways with Tom Herman?
Well, listen, if South Carolina and Vanderbilt can fire their coaches, and I was one that said, I didn't think there'd be a lot of firings. Now, there's been 2 in the SEC. That's honestly about one more than I thought there'd be for the whole year at this point. So I'm a little surprised Vanderbilt has went ahead and made a move this early. So if those 2 schools, if Vanderbilt and South Carolina can make a move on their coach, Texas certainly can. Texas can afford it more than those 2 schools combined. So it won't be finances won't be the reason at Texas if they decide to make a change.
They lost their highly touted number 1 quarterback. I know in Texas, and he might be in the country. His name's Quinn Ewers. If I remember that correctly, he decommitted from Texas. Now is committed to Ohio State. So it seems like that. And it was funny that Tom Herman, and I'm forgetting if he said this in a press conference or how this was reported, but he says like the rumors about Urban Meyer being linked to Texas is hurting his recruiting. And the joke that many people were making was, well, no, it would actually help your recruiting if Urban Meyer was linked to the University of Texas. So there's always these wild conspiracy theories when it comes to that football program, who's going to take over. I mean, there's been people saying that Mac Brown should come back after the success he's had at North Carolina. But Tom Herman, most definitely, even if he's not let go after this year, he is definitely, his seat's getting hotter in Austin.
And who was the coach they were after hot and heavy when they hired Tom Herman? Who was the one they wanted? Who was their number 1 prime target? Nick Saban. So would they put their sights on Nick again? That would be interesting.
Listen, you can hate the University of Texas all you want, and if you would want it to wait because Texas does come to Fayetteville next year, but it would be nice to get Nick Saban out of the SEC, if we're being honest. Yeah. You would rather have, and this, listen, you hate hearing this, but you would probably legitimately, it would be better for your football program. And I'm trying to think, I don't think this is a miscarriage state. I don't think this is terrible. It would probably be better your football program if Nick Saban was at Texas and Alabama.
Wouldn't that be the most Arkansas thing ever, though? You finally get Nick out of the league, but, oh, by the way, you got to play him, what was it, game 2? His first year at Texas next year.
At least
you don't quite get rid of him yet.
Just yet.
I don't know that he would entertain that. I don't know that he would even be a prime target after last time. But you have to pick up the phone and ask if you're Texas, right? If they go through with it and make a change, you're obligated to at least pick up the phone and say, hey, is there interest?
You have to at least make him tell you say no.
Exactly.
That's the whole idea. Now, would he even, as you mentioned, would he even entertain it? I don't know. But like you said, you got to at least, hey, you got to tell us no.
And we keep saying the pandemic, the finances, these schools are dealing with 75, 80% reduction in ticket sales. As a coach, can you really even feel good about leveraging one of these opportunities that come your way for a raise right now? Maybe you don't care if you feel good about it. Maybe you go through with that anyway. What is your image? What kind of hit will your image take with your own fan base? Frank Broyles used to say every time your name comes up with a job, you lose, was it 10% of your fan base or 15%? He had a percentage he put that you lose every time your name even comes up with a job. So. For Nick Saban, do you even let it go that far? I don't know.
But if you're Nick Saban and you do all you can do, like if you're like let's say Sam Pittman's job is linked to other schools just because there might not be like great reporting as far as that goes, like is Sam Pittman really going to lose fans from this fan base? Now, if he took the job somewhere else, but that's just not going to happen.
I don't know
right?
is that adage true anymore with social media because you're right. Some of the reporting out there isn't always accurate.
I mean,
I'm just saying that's the adage Coach Broyles used. That probably applied 20 or 30 years ago.
Yeah. Here's my thing. If I wanted to just have some fun and start a rumor tomorrow, or after, let's say Arkansas beats Missouri this weekend, and Sam Pittman gets the 4 wins, and he's going to be again in the conversation with the SEC Coach of the Year. I don't think he'll win it, but he'll at least be in that conversation. And I decided to go to my phone and tweet out, "Hey, Sam Pittman's being linked to so-and-so job."
South
and
Carolina.
then it just blew up and exploded. Of course it wouldn't be valid or anything. And then it would, to me, I don't think Sam Pittman, I would be losing listeners and fans if I had said that because it's not true.
I was saying credible. I mean, I meant what Coach Broyles was talking about was credible links to a job, but you were actually playing footsies with another school.
Well, and here's what I'm saying to that. I think social media has just kind of changed that in a sense where there's so much
I agree with
toxic I don't know if I'd go to the far extent of lies, but it's just misinformation. You just see a bunch of garbage on that.
I do think you got agents like Jimmy Sexton out there that they like to play as much footsies with other schools and opportunities as possible because they see a chance to get either an addition to your contract, a raise, better guarantee, something's in it for you just by the flirtation.
And by something in it for me, it also means something in it for Jimmy Sexton because he's going to make some more money when it comes to that. Jenkins, I'll get your thoughts on this. What did you think of the Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight and the Nate Robinson and Jake Paul fight as well?
I mean, not surprised by both of them. It was, and I thought Tyson and Roy Jones, I mean, for being that many years out, I mean, Roy Jones has only been 3 years out of boxing, and Mike Tyson for 14 or 15 years at that point.
2005.
I mean, you could tell their age and wear and tear on them, but I mean, they looked a hell of a lot better than I thought they were going to, be completely honest with you.
They got tired.
What was the pay-per-view on that? How much did that cost?
$50.
I did. Did you pay for it?
I didn't. I was back home, and we don't have very good Wi-Fi at our house back out in the country where we live, so I didn't get to watch it, but I seen plenty of highlights on YouTube. I saw the nasty knockout Jake Paul gave Nate Robinson.
Twice, basically.
Twice, basically. He knocked him out once, and they let him keep going. Then now you're seeing memes everywhere of Nate Robinson falling out. But, no, it was a good match. Not surprised by the draw. I mean, I was fine with it. I kind of personally would have liked to have seen Tyson win for our halftime game day picks, and Phil, for some reason, picked it to end in a draw, and I'm a little bit salty about that right now.
I think you're going to have to watch The Exorcist based on
I'm not watching The Exorcist. That is not. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. So, but no, the match was great. I was pleasantly surprised, and I think we're going to see, maybe not necessarily with Roy Jones, but this ain't the last time we're going to see Tyson in the ring.
It felt like it was set up to there had to be a rematch if Tyson involved somehow because they labeled it a draw. To me, I mean, I'm not even going to sit here and say that I understand Bob, but like to me, it looked like Tyson won.
Tyson landed more punches. I mean, he won pretty much in every conceivable category that a normal boxing match probably would have went his way. But who knows? It may have been ended like that.
Wait. Are you? I'm hearing some undertows, some implications that boxing may actually be rigged a little bit. That the decision and the outcome of a boxing match, and particularly an exhibition match, might actually be rigged to set up a rematch. Is that the implication I'm hearing from you two gentlemen?
Be. I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
That a decision might be made for financial gain of in a future event.
Hey, if I can hear Snoop Dogg and Mauro Ranallo do commentary again, sign me up. I'll definitely buy it again because Snoop Dogg on commentary was a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, it was highly entertaining all around. I was disappointed to see Jake Paul beat Nate Robinson because I think Jake Paul's a punk, and I wish Nate Robinson would have done the reverse and knocked him out, but we unfortunately didn't get to see that. All right, Kansas City Chiefs got a big-time win against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday. Tyreek Hill had himself a game.
And on first down here against a really good Tampa defense, he's throwing it long. Gunning it long, Tyreek Hill holds it in at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Kansas City, Tyreek Hill, an explosive first quarter, 75-yard touchdown reception on a perfect strike from Patrick Mahomes.
Tyreek Hill had 269 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes had himself a dandy of a day. Once again, you see another great matchup between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, and you wonder how many more you're going to get to see based on that Tom is at the end of his career and Patrick's looks like it's just taking off.
Yeah, and fun game. I mean, I guess the biggest star you've had for 20 years in your game, and probably the guy that's going to be the biggest star for the next 15 years in the sport. So, I don't know if that's a handoff, in what you saw yesterday. I know Tom Brady has not been it's interesting to see what's going on with the Patriots and with Tom Brady, and really neither Belichick and his team nor Tom Brady on his own, neither one have been as good as you'd hoped for them to have been without each other this year. It's hard to say which one was carrying the other because right now they seem to neither one be doing as well without being together.
Yeah, and it's the consistent battle between, who's doing better between Belichick and Brady. It's hard to make a quick determination on that in this point. And another thing I want to talk about as far as NFL is concerned, so we'll get into this coming up. We saw Brandon Allen start for the Cincinnati Bengals yesterday. Did not get the win. The New York Giants edged it out 19-17. I want to talk about its particular comparisons between BA and your current starting quarterback, Felipe Franks.
All right, those are your quick-hitting headlines. They're brought to you by the Fence Man. Anything involving a fence that you need to call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Fence, gates, powered gates, controlled access. They do all of those kind of things for you. Also ask about 18-month same-as-cash financing that they have available now as well. Anything you've got involving the Fence Man can do it for you. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Before we get into that comparison, I want to go to the phone lines and welcome in Bob in Hot Springs. He wants to discuss what occurred with Vanderbilt letting go Derek Mason. Bob, you're on the Morning Rush. Bob, you there, buddy?
We'll have to come back to Bob.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have to come back to Bob, so.
Pick up the phone, baby.
All right, so with this Brandon Allen and Felipe Franks comparison, I thought there was a really good piece that Trey Biddy of Hog Sports compared the two. And I'm watching this game, and I felt similarities with Felipe and BA this season because I feel like that Felipe hasn't necessarily gotten the respect that he's deserved. It was actually kind of funny. You know that who was game planning against Cincinnati on Saturday on the other side of the football, right?
Well, yeah.
You know, Jenkins, you know.
I do.
Like, think about that. Is that not weird?
Yeah.
Is that not weird?
His former head coach.
His former head coach, and Brett Bielema was on the defensive line for the New York Giants, and he's having a game plan against his starting quarterback in college in Brandon Allen. So that was kind of cool to see that combination get played out. Brett Bielema and company. I wouldn't necessarily say it was him. I'd say the defensive line had a pretty good game. So for whatever Brett Bielema had game plan, it worked because Brandon was under pressure all game long, and I think that's partially because his offensive line. But when you look at the Felipe and Brandon comparison, Brandon Allen had a great 2015 season that was really sparked from the Auburn game that they were able to beat Gus Malzahn. And go back to 2015, he throws for 30 touchdowns, has only 8 interceptions, and a school record 166 passer rating. And yet, Tommy, if you remember that season, there were still people that I'm assuming were calling into the Morning Rush that thought they should have gone to Austin Allen at points that season.
Oh, I mean, but the backup quarterback's always the most popular guy on any team. Yeah, you mentioned offensive line and how BA didn't get a lot of help from his O-line. I just think about Felipe Franks and compared to the O-line that Brandon Allen had then compared to what Felipe Franks is dealing with now. And really, that was kind of the beginning, the end of serviceable offensive lines. There were guys on that line, several guys on those offensive lines that were part of what Sam Pittman had built that played in the NFL, had chances either as free agents or were drafted in the NFL. There's not going to be – it hadn't been a lot of those stories off this offensive line lately. So when you compare numbers, I think you also got to compare offensive lines too.
Well, and you do that. So let's label out the offensive line. When you have Denver Kirkland, you have Dan Skipper, you have Frank Ragnow, you have Mitch Smothers, and you have Sebastian Trottola. 5 really good offensive linemen. Who led the SEC in sacks given up that year?
I don't know.
Arkansas. Arkansas did 14. That's all they gave up that year. That's the only amount of sacks that year. Arkansas this season, 27 they've already given up.
And some of those sacks this year, 27's on Franks.
And again, that's what I was going to say. But, I mean, it's not even a comparison when you look at the two offensive lines and say, hey, which one would you rather have backing you up as a quarterback? You clearly pointed to 2015. But you look at Felipe so far this season, he's beating out Brandon as far as completion percentage, has thrown for 17 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, and again, has the single season completion percentage right now at 68. And that could be the all-time record if he continues up at this pace and beats out Kevin Scanlon, who did it in 70-something. I'm forgetting the exact year. But that just goes to show you the type of game that Felipe's having, and he's doing it again behind an offensive line that is serviceable, but nowhere near the caliber that Brandon, Tyler, or Ryan had.
Even Austin Allen had, I think, was it 16 or 17? He had sack numbers north of 24.
Atrocious. Yeah, it was above 30. I think it was 33 or 34.
So,
he was sacked more in 2016 than Brandon was sacked throughout his entire career. Or it's like one sack or two off how close that was. And that shows you just once Sam Pittman left and Kurt Anderson came in, the offensive line went down drastically. But I'm watching this game between the Bengals and the Giants, and again, we've watched Felipe this season, and there's been people complain on this very radio station. There's been people that have complained through message boards and stuff, hey, Felipe's not doing this, hey, Felipe's not doing that. But when it comes to this type of conversation, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Is there, let's say Felipe can't suit up on Saturday against Missouri Tigers. My outlook on the game completely changes. Like, I think that Arkansas is going to beat Missouri on Saturday. But
I don't know if it's Denver Broncos bad, but I think it's not that situation, but you're getting to a point where, it's a whole different offensive game.
It's a whole different ball game. If you look at the game, if Felipe isn't able to go against Missouri, I think your outlook changes from a win to a loss, just because you don't know necessarily what you can get in terms of a full game from KJ Jefferson or Malik Hornsby. And I think when you go back to Brandon Allen in 2015, there was a lot of people that say, oh, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. And like when it came down to it, he was probably the second or third best quarterback in the SEC that year.
Now, in fairness, where would KJ Jefferson or Hornsby, either one, be if they had gotten the reps in practice and all the development and all the attention from the coaching staff and Kendall Browse to get them ready, not just for one game but for a season? They haven't received the attention that the starting quarterback has gotten. So it's also not a fair comparison to compare the 2 and the 3 quarterback to the number 1 when you don't get the reps in practice or all of the prep work that goes into being the starter.
But don't you earn those reps by how you play?
Not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying if you just swap quarterbacks right now, if there was an injury and now all of a sudden Franks can't go, it's also not an equal comparison based on the development that's went into Franks to get to this point.
I just felt like that, and I felt like several times this season when it comes to talking about Felipe Franks, his game, what he's meant to this program, you've mentioned, hey, maybe it resolutes to a win or two, depending on how much impact you think Felipe has had on this team.
Who would you beat without him? Of the 3 wins you got, who would you have beaten without Felipe Franks?
That's a good question to ask, and I don't know if there's a solid answer that you can point to. Hey, you beat this team, because again, it's weird because I feel like he's had his better games in some of your losses, which is kind of odd to try and figure out. But when it just comes to the Brandon Allen and Felipe comparisons, I think there's a lot of similarities where they don't. Brandon didn't get the appreciation in 2015 that he deserved, and I don't think Felipe has necessarily gotten the full allotment of appreciation that he's deserved in 2020.
No, I'd agree. And again, as you said, you don't know what you've got until it's gone.
Don't know what it's got until it's gone.
But I think Franks has also had to work behind an offensive line that's made his job a challenge as well. So.
Not even close to what.
But there hasn't been any games really that you lined up and just handed the ball off to win the ball game. You just ran it down someone's throat and
because you haven't been able to because of the offensive line. So And again, Brandon had the number 1 offensive line in the SEC in terms of sacks given up. We know how valuable those guys were. We talked about some of the guys that were on that offensive line: Denver Kirkland, Sebastian Trottola, Frank Ragnow, Dan Skipper, and Mitch Smothers. I mean, Felipe would kill for that offensive line, and he's been really good so far this season. All right, hour number 2 coming up. You better take Missouri seriously in this football game come Saturday. I'm so sick of losing these Tigers. Are the Hogs? We'll see. We'll talk about this all week. Hour number 2 coming up on the Morning Rush.
The all-new Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas wants you to get out and explore this fall. Wheels has the luxury brands you can depend on to keep you camping. Brands like Grand Design, Alliance, KZ, and the all-new solar-powered Vibe. And with a lifetime warranty on every new unit and a mobile service shuttle, you can relax and know that your RV will stay like new year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hello, everybody. You're looking live at Fansville, a college football utopia.
Fansville.
Where the rivers flow with ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Delicious.
where every day is Saturday and everyone's a fan, even babies.
Fan babies.
And the seasons never change because the only season is college football season. Get a taste of Fansville this fall during a college football game near you. Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. Grab some today.
If you have experience transporting frozen and refrigerated goods and want to be part of a trucking family with insurance and be home every week, you need to contact Brent Higgins Trucking. Since 1997, Brent Higgins Trucking in Mulberry has been proudly delivering to and from various areas of the United States, including but not limited to Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Brent Higgins Trucking, where you're a name, not a number. Contact them at 479-997-2366 or at BrentHigginsTrucking.com.
Want to hear how I almost got off the naughty list this year? I helped Santa save gazillions by having him download Capital One Shopping to his computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. You can download it too and save a bundle. You don't even need a Capital One card, and it's free. So why didn't I get off the naughty list? Turns out Santa's a stickler for naughty words. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
State sales tax paid on every vehicle purchased. Now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on every new Buick GMC and pre-owned vehicle. Now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You'll save hundreds, even thousands, but you have to buy before the end of the month. This offer does not apply to previously negotiated deals. State sales tax paid on every new and pre-owned vehicle on the lot at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off 5540 in Fort Smith.
Is your Arkansas home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a no-cost-to-you program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, their crews will install measures that can include attic insulation, LED light bulbs, weather stripping, advanced power strips, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors, and much more. The services provided through this program are at no cost to you for qualifying homes. If you or someone you know could benefit from home weatherization improvements, call OG&E today at 800-272-9741. That's 800-272-9741.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Whether it's a game day, a holiday, an office function, or your family lunch or dinner, Whole Hog Cafe in Fort Smith is ready to serve you their award-winning barbecue and sides. Call either of the Whole Hog Fort Smith locations on Borough Road or Phoenix Avenue, or go online to wholehogfortsmith.com and check out their buddy packs and party packs. Both Whole Hog locations are open with limited seating until further notice. They're open 11 till 6 Tuesday through Saturday. Experience award-winning barbecue and sides at Whole Hog Cafe today.
We always put the customer first at Orr Chevrolet in Fort Smith. Since 1924, the Orr family of dealerships has grown based on one simple principle. Give the customer more money for their trades and give them a lower price on their new vehicle. It's a simple concept, really, but one that very few dealers honor anymore. Hey, we know you paid a lot of money for your vehicle, and Orr Chevrolet wants to pay you the maximum amount for it today. Then we'll give you an awesome price on a new Chevrolet. But we're not done giving you more. Included with any new vehicle sold. Or Chevy will also give you a lifetime powertrain warranty, 2 years of free maintenance, and free car washes for life. So come get a lower price and more money for your trade today at Orr Chevrolet on Auto Park Drive in Fort Smith and 24/7 at OrChevyFS.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You always get more at Orr.
Do you like paying rent or mortgage every month? Of course not. Thanks to real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell and Chambers Bank, we're giving away free rent or mortgage payments for a year, up to $15,000. Now that's a good start to 2021. Go to hitthatline.com and enter the free rent or mortgage for a year sweepstakes now through December 14th. Complete contest rules are at hitthatline.com. Let us pay your rent or mortgage for a year, courtesy of Chambers Bank, real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, and ESPN Arkansas. ESPN Arkansas weather.
sunny and breezy today. Our high this afternoon into the low to mid 40s with winds anywhere from 25 to near 30 miles per hour. Mainly clear and cold tonight, low 20s. Sunny, not as cool on Tuesday. Our high right around 55 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Hertz Car Sales. Make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard. Call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com.
You're listening to The Morning Rush live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3 KERX Paris Fort Smith.
You made comments about Arkansas last year, upset a lot of Arkansas fans. Are you still calling it Arkansas?
Right now, I'm calling it that team down south because I'm still trying to figure out how to pronounce it. It is a difficult state to pronounce. There are a few states out there like that. But I am working on it. I'm taking speech classes. Hopefully, by that time this year, hopefully I'll be able to pronounce that correctly.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
You're causing a major disturbance on my time.
If I'm here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time?
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station. Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com. There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but there ain't but one Razorback. Number one.
This is The Morning Rush.
Borderline erotic.
With Ty Richardson.
Sunshine. That's cool. I can dig it.
And Tommy Kraft.
Do I look happy?
What's wrong?
Lloyd!
The Morning Rush starts right now.
So that was Eric Beazell, who played linebacker and defensive line for Missouri a few years back. And if you remember those comments, he was making fun of Arkansas and doing a variety of things, similar to what Les Miles was doing in his press conference prior to the game against Arkansas in 2007. It's irritating, it's frustrating when someone disrespects you like that. And listen, Missouri, not only if they disrespect you, they beaten on the field. You have to start taking this rivalry seriously if you're the Arkansas football team, or they're just going to keep beating you. I want to talk about that coming up here on a Hot Take Monday.
Hot Take Monday brought to you by Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas. All the luxury brands to keep you camping like Grand Design, Alliance, KZ, and the all-new solar-powered Vibe. New inventories in stock right now with lifetime warranties on every new unit and a mobile service shuttle so you can relax and know that your RV will stay like new year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
That conversation is coming up, but first I want to welcome in Bob in Hot Springs. Bob, do we got you this time, man?
Hello.
Hey, Bob, what's up?
I hate to interrupt the Brandon Allen Love Fest that y'all had going on, but I just wanted to say that Vanderbilt can't be choosy about hiring a head coach. So why don't they just hire Blake Anderson from Arkansas State?
From what I can tell, Blake Anderson is pretty happy being in Jonesboro. Now, that's subject to change.
I wonder how much longer you can be happy in Jonesboro. There's no future there. You can't win for long. I'm not sure you can win at all at Vanderbilt, but you can't win for long at Arkansas State. And from what I've been reading on the net, there are some Arkansas State people who are starting to get testy with Anderson, which is the most nonsensical thing I've ever heard.
Sure.
I think that this is going to be his
He is
first.
so much better than what they're. Well, they've had good coaches, and he's the latest good coach.
And he stayed longer than most.
Yeah. So you think about like Brian Harsin, I think stayed there for 1 or 2 years there, and then went to Boise State. Think about Hugh Freeze being there. Think about Gus Malzahn being there. I mean, it's typically you stay there and then you're.
I think frankly, I think Hugh Freeze can do better than Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's not much above a high school program.
He's Hugh Freeze has been reported, Bob, to wanting the Tennessee.
If they want to hire Will Muschamp and his non-official bid to coach all 14 SEC teams, fine. Or if there's another Nick Saban assistant out there, fine. But Vanderbilt can't be too choosy. I think they'll run off a good man.
I don't think, and I appreciate the call this morning, Bob. I don't think anyone's questioning the character of Derek Mason. I've had conversations with him at SEC Media Days. I think a lot of SEC media members would say the same thing, that they really like the guy. But the fact is, he had a losing record. And as far as you're saying, be picky and choosy, if you've ever been, for those who have ever made their way to Nashville and see the facilities, they're dumb. They just are. For SEC standards, Vanderbilt has no business competing on the football side of things. And I honestly don't know, outside of kids that are in Tennessee, I don't know how they get kids to come want to play there, because their facilities are trash. Their home fans don't show up for games. The visiting fans outnumber them every single game. There's no there's no pride, there's no tradition in Vanderbilt football. And so, to your point about they can't be picky and choosy, I don't know what coach wants to coach for Vanderbilt. Derek Mason obviously did. James Franklin had success there, and then he left for Penn State. There is not a lot going for Vanderbilt football right now, period. And if you see the facilities, you'll understand why.
You take the Vanderbilt job for one of two things, either a stepping stone because you think you can get them to 7 or 8 wins and move on to the next job, and that would be a great job at Vanderbilt if you could win 7 or 8 in a normal year where you're playing, you're able to win 2 or 3 non-conference games, and then you can be better than the other half of the SEC. You can beat Kentucky, you can beat South Carolina, you can beat Tennessee, and you can find yourself bowl eligible at Vanderbilt. You're going to get an opportunity to go elsewhere. That's what James Franklin did. Or you take the job if you're in a situation like Blake Anderson and you're making hundreds of thousands or just over $1 million a year or whatever, and you want to double your salary and you make 2-point-something million a year, because that's what Vanderbilt can do for you. You can financially set yourself up for a while. And no one probably is going to hold it against you if you go to Vanderbilt and it doesn't work out. You may have to find your way back to being a head coach somehow. You may have to go back to being a coordinator somewhere. But no one's going to look at you as, you clearly can't coach if you didn't win at Vanderbilt. This isn't Texas. This isn't Florida.
That's the way.
In Georgia.
I'd say that's a pretty good way to look at it. Back to the phone lines, going to Russellville, welcoming in Hong Kong Suey. Hong Kong Suey, you're on the Morning Rush.
Morning, fellas. I missed the first segment or 2 this morning. I just got on just in time to be irritated by Bob. He just ticked me off right from the start with the Brandon Allen Love Fest comment. Brandon Allen's the best quarterback we've had in many a moon at Arkansas, and we ought to appreciate it. Secondly, the Vanderbilt job, man, who wants to work there? I mean, why in the world are they firing this guy who, in a regular year, when it's not COVID-stained, it's probably going to get them 4 or 5 wins. That's really the most they can hope for on most years. Yeah. Well, whatever, let them do their thing. They're going to hire somebody else, and he'll either leave after his first 6-win season, like Tommy said, or they'll run him off after his first 3-win season, which for them is about as good as it's going to get.
Yeah. Or he'll collect your annuity.
Hopeless at this point.
Yeah.
Unless nobody's going there who's really trying to prove something, because you got to just hit it lucky. And I think Franklin's now proved that he just kind of hit it lucky with his performance at Penn State. He hadn't done all that much. Not too many great shakes there.
They're bad this year. They're either 1-5 or 0-6. I'm forgetting if they won on Saturday or not. So that's
I don't remember either.
Maybe Michigan this weekend.
But he hadn't really been that great even the seasons before this.
Yeah, they beat Michigan this weekend. Oh my gosh.
There's been Harbaugh's clearly shown that he can't handle a college team. Big whoop. Anyway, at the end of the day, I worked all night. I'm irritable, and I turned on the radio to Bob this morning and just thought I needed to call in and have my say. That's really about the end of it.
Uh-huh.
Also, I want to toss this out there, just because I'm still irritated about the way folks have been talking down Connor Vanover heading into the season. That guy was a beast Saturday evening against North Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That's a much better win than a lot of Hog fans are going to realize at this point in the season.
Yeah.
And Vanover went, I think, 34 minutes or something in that
34.
game, and just dominated on the defensive end.
Yeah.
So anybody that thought he was just going to barely get any playing time and not going to do much. I think he's shown in the first 2 games that he's a little bit more than that.
Well, Hong Kong Sue, we appreciate the call. Yeah, he did stand out. I will say, though, there's been 2 games so far, and I know he had 2 good performances, but it's kind of wait and see. And if you want to say that I've been one of the guns, because I think eventually Jalen Williams is going to take over and get his minutes. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. That's just my opinion on the matter.
Remember, Arkansas got out-rebounded by, a margin of 7, I think it was, last year. So, maybe this is the guy that can help you win some rebounding battles this year.
You hope that's the case. All right, we'll get into that Arkansas-Missouri conversation coming up on the Morning Rush.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Eagles Nest is coming in hot. When you're looking for outdoor power equipment, head to R-Track, where we've got the area's best selection of tractors and mowers. Check out our side-by-side UTVs, Argo Amphibious XTVs, and Hammerhead go-karts. We rent professional quality equipment and service everything we sell. Stop by today. Get the R-Track advantage.
Off I-40 at exit 58 at 219 East Taylor Road in Clarksville. You can check out their inventory online at rtrack.com.
Frankrow Furniture at 405 Fort Street in Barling is your made-in-the-USA furniture, bedding, and appliance store, proudly supporting American jobs and industry. Come in and see Aaron or Tyler about made-in-the-USA Speed Queen washers and dryers, furniture from Eads Brothers, Catnappers, Southern Motion, Best Home Furnishing, and Union Furniture. In-store no-credit check financing available. Find them on Facebook or at frankrowfurniture.com. Frankrow Furniture, best seats in the house.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland. I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Yeah, that's right. We made prime rib for breakfast. Premium, juicy, sliced prime rib for breakfast. And then we topped it with a freshly cracked fried egg and melted Swiss. Why? We knew you needed it, that's why. The new prime rib and fried egg biscuit from Hardee's. Feed your happy. Available for limited time during breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Price and participation may vary.
Did you know that you can get your car serviced or repaired without ever leaving your house? All you have to do is call Jody's Auto Service Center at 479-649-3399. Jody's will pick up your vehicle, service or repair it for you, and return it fully disinfected to your driveway. Pickup and delivery is free for jobs $75 or more. Jobs less than $75 can be picked up and returned for a $10 fee. Let Jody's Auto Service Centers handle all your service and vehicle repair needs. Call 479-649-3399. Jody's Auto Service Center.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch and dinner. Open 7 days a week, both on the open-air patio and air-conditioned dining room for your safety and comfort. River City Bistro is locally owned and open weekdays 11 to 8, Saturdays 10 to 8, and Sundays 10 till 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
Introducing Budweiser Zero. 0% alcohol, 0 grams of sugar. Full Budweiser flavor. For all the moments you want a beer and need to stay on your game. Budweiser Zero. 0 alcohol, 0 compromise.
Did you invest in real estate only to find out that real estate takes up too much of your time? If you answered yes, then it's time to make a call to the experts. With more than 30 years of combined property management experience and more than 16,000 units managed, Trinity Multifamily are the ones to call. Get your life back. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Oh my gourd, folks. Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources. This month, I want to say thanks. So I'm on a mission to make car buying easy as pie and help you snag a sweet deal on one of our Rath Road Ready vehicles. Each one handpicked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. This month, you could drive a nicer, newer car and save up to $4,150. That's a lot of dough. So if your old ride is flaky, crusty, burnt, or rusty, don't let it squash your happiness. Trade it for a nicer, newer car now, even if you still owe money, and save up to $4,150. Plus, my For the People approval process makes financing your nicer, newer car easy as pie. Keeping the car you have? Get it ready for winter in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Deals this delicious won't last long, so visit us today at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Crabb.
Franks is in the gun, gets the snap. He's going to throw a slant. Woods in the end zone, complete touchdown, Arkansas.
All your favorite podcasts in one place. The Hit That Line Podcast Network. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Tom Murphy is going to join us in about 5 minutes. We'll talk with him about what is looking ahead for Arkansas football and then maybe touch on a little basketball. I know Bob Holt was there for the ADG and Whole Hog on Saturday, but Tom probably also watched that a little bit as well. That's all coming up here on the Morning Rush.
Brought to you by the Paint Store in Van Buren for all your fall and winter painting projects. They've been there for more than 30 years to help you get the right color, the right paints, the right finishes, the right tools to do the job. They've got everything you need. Paints, stains from the top brands like Richards Paints. They got all the top products to do your project. And they keep samples, the colors, the right Pantones, those things on file for 10 years in your name and address. So when you come back to touch up or to put another coat on in a bathroom, a bedroom, the outside of your house, whatever, years later, you can rest assured that the Paint Store is going to have that color on file so you can match it perfectly. It's all at the Paint Store in Van Buren, 1414 Fayetteville Road, or call Sue at 474-4505.
We'll first go to the phone lines. Welcome in Rod on I-40. Rod, you're on the Morning Rush.
Yeah, good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
We are well.
Making it.
Making it. Still vertical and still sucking air, right? That's a good thing. Vanderbilt could get a coach if they wanted one. Chad Morris is available out here. They'd have to move the stadium closer to Texas, though. But or they could put in a Pizza Hut and get, Brett Bielema. He can take the job. But, Missouri, there's a problem. It's like an itch that won't go away. If our defensive line all is healthy and shows up, and everybody else like our offense, that would be helpful. I think we wouldn't have. I think we'd have beat LSU pretty good last week. We'd have had everybody.
I think Arkansas would have won that game if they just had some defensive linemen, but we saw that was really the area that LSU took advantage of this past Saturday, or 2 Saturdays ago. Excuse me.
Yeah, they ran all over us. As long as our D-line shows up, the ones that are supposed to be our D-line, I believe we'll be fine against Missouri. They look pretty decent right now, but nothing to write home about. So, I believe we'll be all right.
Well, I guess we'll find out on Saturday. Rod, appreciate the call, buddy.
Yeah, you bet.
So I think it's a matter of, getting guys back. And, again, Sam Pittman will meet with the media probably around 12 o'clock today, and we'll get to hear from him as far as their updates. And we know that those are subject to change. But I think a fully healthy Razorback team beats Missouri. I agree with Rod as far as that goes.
Well, we've seen, at least with Arkansas's perspective, when the team has a bye or a team's coming off an extra week of COVID. We saw with LSU. We saw with A&M. Now, A&M is probably just a better team. LSU, that's questionable. That's helped that team. So anytime, particularly this late in the year, not only with the COVID recovery, but just remember, Arkansas's had an extra week to just heal up. There's bangs, bumps, and bruises this time of the year, so they're getting They're getting over that too.
Healthy, and we opened up the show. Yes, it was a bummer they didn't get Arkansas football the Saturday following Thanksgiving, but like you mentioned, this is a time and a good time for Arkansas to get healthy. And as we bring in Tom Murphy here on the Morning Rush, Tom, I wonder, have you already thought what you're going to ask Sam Pittman today? I think health, COVID numbers is always a concern. What are you wanting to talk to Sam Pittman today about at 12 o'clock?
Yeah, just what the second unexpected open week was about. It looks to me like, well, he said Thursday that they really didn't do any heavy hitting or do any hitting at all, did walkthroughs and stuff like that. So they have to kind of regroup and refocus, redirect. And I tell you, y'all watching this Missouri team, they're pretty salty. So, maybe get a little bit more in depth about what he saw from them after the shutout over the weekend.
Tom, you probably remember the Missouri defensive lineman and linebacker Eric Brazel make the comments kind of derogatory towards Arkansas, speaking down on the state, and I know that ticked a lot of people off, and yet Missouri was still able to beat the Razorbacks. Last time you beat them was in 2015. How important is it for Sam Pittman to get off on the right note against Missouri and kind of rekindle this rivalry a little bit?
Well, in the full spectrum of where Sam Pittman wants to get this program going and how wants people to view it, winning another road game at Missouri, your Thanksgiving weekend traditionally rival, would be very big. And that 2016 team, Arkansas had, I thought in 2014, the renewal game up there in Columbia, the Razorbacks got out to a lead, and I can't remember all the details, but I felt like they should have won that game, and I think they were a pretty big underdog. They won it in 2015, cold, rainy day, 28-3. Drew Lock was still kind of a baby at quarterback at that time, and obviously got a lot better. But I thought the 2016 game, Barry Odom's first against Arkansas, that was Arkansas's game to win. And he gambled on a 4th and 7 deep in his own territory and ran this fake punt look. And it came one play after Ryan Pulley almost intercepted a pass deep in Missouri territory, almost picked it off. Then they run the fake punt, and the momentum switched, and Missouri won that game. Well, they haven't lost to the Razorbacks since then, and just a total giveaway game. So it's very important for Arkansas. I mean, this is going to be your, season-ending trophy game to start winning some of them, including on the road.
Yeah, you mentioned Barry Odom. That's one of the understories here is his return to Columbia, Missouri, as being their former head coach. And what kind of motivation does that provide for these players? I mean, they weren't his players at Missouri, but they're his players now. I mean, I would think they would want to have his back in this situation. How much do you think he would want to play up that angle this week for the defensive side of the ball?
I think the players probably would do that for him. And Sam Carter obviously had been at Missouri as well, and Brad Davis. So you got guys on both sides of the ball who have a pretty good knowledge of Missouri personnel. And not only that, but they've had a couple of weeks to break them down and look at their strengths and weaknesses and how to attack them. Man, I see this game as a total toss-up. I know Missouri opened as a 1.5 favorite, which is almost like, Arkansas's favored on a neutral field in this game. But having watched them on Saturday, they're playing with a lot more confidence. Bazelak in the run-pass option game looks very, very, very tricky because Roundtree's a tough guy to get down on the ground. Beatty's a guy you could use in all different kind of ways. They've got a good set of receivers, including Bannister, who had that one big series in Little Rock last year that turned the tide of that game. So, and their defense is really striking right now. And Nick Bolton is one of the best linebackers in the country. So this is going to be a difficult game. Arkansas needs to win it in the trenches. And, if they had their defensive line all together against LSU, I have pretty good confidence they would have won that game. And they'd be sitting here at 4-4 with a chance to go to 500 and guarantee a 500 record for the season.
We're told this is a rivalry. it doesn't feel like a rivalry. What has to happen for this actually to become a rivalry between Arkansas and Missouri?
Yeah, Tommy, I don't know. I mean, does it take a couple of decades to feel like a rivalry? Does it take an in-game fight or something like that? I don't know. Maybe just some classic games, some classic finishes, things that people will remember. Like when we talk about the LSU series, you got the Kobe Hamilton play before halftime. You got Darren McFadden with a wooden bat. You got huge wins for the Razorbacks that kind of get seared into your memory. And right now, that 28-3 game here in Fayetteville, all I remember was it was dismal. It was rainy, and other details of that game just escaped me. So just need to have some fantastic finishes and things like that. I did later that day go down to West Fork and watch Smackover with a young Jordan Jones play against West Fork in the playoffs in the rain.
How about that, man? You're just busy bee that day. Talking with Tom Murphy here on the Morning Rush. Tom, when you think about the jobs that have opened up so far in the SEC, South Carolina and Vanderbilt, I found it interesting that Jordan Rogers thought that Barry Odom would be a name that Vanderbilt should consider. Is that something that Arkansas should keep an eye on, those two SEC jobs popping open with a former head coach in this conference who's your DC?
Well, yeah. I mean, and here's the thing: his work this season hasn't gone unnoticed by the people who make decisions. So he'll probably be in line for a good raise. And it just depends on what he told Sam Pittman. Like, hey, I'd like to stick with you for 3-4 years. I don't know what conversations they've had together. 1 year, I'm sure he would aspire to go back to being a head coach, but Vandy's a very, very tough job. Jordan Rogers did refer to him as a program builder type of coach. And, I get it. I think Barry Odom has the right mentality and personality to be a program builder. But after one season at Arkansas, do you want to take that on? And overnight yesterday, during the course of the day, I did read several other, kind of plugged in and national guys who have a good feel. And I don't think Odom ranks as highly, just in terms of guys who would be a good natural fit at Vanderbilt, as a handful of other guys. So at this stage, I don't know if he would be way high on Vanderbilt's radar, but I would like to see Barry Odom get another shot as a head coach somewhere, but maybe not as difficult a rebuild as Vanderbilt.
Tom, you brought up the 2014 game, and if you remember, Brandon Allen was injured I think the second half of that game, and that's kind of why Arkansas wasn't able to pull it out. But we were discussing earlier the comparison between Felipe Franks and Brandon Allen as we're sitting watching BA start for the Bengals yesterday. And I felt like that both Felipe this season and Brandon in 2015 weren't fully appreciated for what they did for the Razorbacks. Do you think that Felipe Franks has gotten enough credit for what he's done for this football team in 2020?
I guess it depends on where you look for your validation in the press, on TV, and I think Felipe's gotten a lot of good publicity. I mean, every time I do radio spots with the other team, Florida and Auburn and all these other radio deals I do, I talk about what a huge addition he's been. I mean, just his maturity level and his huge arm. I mean, think about the big touchdowns he's connected on with Burks and Woods and Devion Warren. The fact he keeps them in games, how important his legs are. Brandon Allen, I think, was a very underrated scrambler. I thought, that probably could have been exploited a little bit more. It's certainly a guy who knew the ins and outs of the offense, very clever guy. And Felipe, even though you think of him as a guy who can hurt you with his legs, he slipped in the LSU game, and he's kind of it seems like it's hard for him to stay on balance when he makes a cut. And I don't know if it's due to wet grass or anything, but if I'm evaluating Felipe, I say he's done an A job. He's done great work in terms of knowing the offense, getting guys in the right spot, delivering the ball on time, the deep ball touch. But he's held on to it. He's held on to the ball a little bit more than you'd want. I mean, if you're really going to critique him, and probably had a few more sacks when maybe he should bolt straight out of the pocket when option A, B, C is not open, go, instead of kind of looking at the rush. So to me, that's a very a minor point, but it's a valid point.
Let me shift to basketball for a second, and maybe we'll come back and cap off the conversation with another football question or two. But we didn't get to visit on Thursday because of the holiday, but Arkansas is off to a 2-0 start in basketball. Scored 142 in the first game, 69 in their second game.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're not covering it directly in this COVID era. Bob's at the games, but I know you've been watching intently what has happened with this basketball team these first two games. Just your thoughts after Arkansas kind of blew the doors off of Mississippi Valley State, and then had a whole different game plan to beat North Texas on Saturday.
Yeah, I get the sense that Eric Musselman is highly engaged, highly interested in how to deploy his talent. He didn't use the bench. He didn't go near as deep in the North Texas game. Well, it wasn't really a blowout, and it was such a different pace game, as you mentioned. I mean, Grant McCaslin has got it going on in terms of they won the conference last year. They know what they're doing. They want you to play at their tempo, and Arkansas just happened to be, better. They didn't shoot great in that game. And, of course, Valley comes down and shoots it before, 15 seconds is down off the shot clock. And Arkansas just had a great shooting night. I tell you, I think Connor Vanover's rebounding, shot blocking is probably a little bit stronger than I expected it would be. And obviously he's going to be a key cog now. But I do think they need to get a little bit more defensive rebounding from people other than Vanover. And the good thing is they got many games to go before conference. And they can kind of sort things out. But how much are the freshmen, the true freshmen, going to really impact this roster remains to be seen. But, like the direction so far, they got some good veterans like Smith and Tate and Note who look like they could be good end-of-game guys.
Tom, before we let you go, man, do you want to talk about your Falcons, the big win yesterday?
I put out a tweet that, if we crush the one team that beat the Chiefs this year, then logically that makes us the best team in football. Of course, that was a joke. We've choked away too many games this year, but, at 4-7, if you reverse the games we blew against the Bears and the Cowboys and the Lions, suddenly, we could be a 7-4 team. But I know that's not going to happen, and I don't know what's going to happen with Matt Ryan. He looked great yesterday. Who knows what direction we're headed?
That's a good question. All right, Tom, we appreciate it as always, buddy. We'll get into more of a preview of Missouri on Thursday.
Sounds great. Thanks, y'all.
All right, Tom Murphy with us. Hot Take Monday brought to you by Wheels RV, Northwest Arkansas. All the top brands like Grand Design, Alliance, KZ, and the all-new solar-powered Vibe. And with a lifetime warranty on every new unit and a mobile service shuttle, relax and know that your RV will stay like new year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of Exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
We mentioned the Derek Mason news as he's been let go by the Vanderbilt Commodores. Other SEC news, it was a good weekend for Arkansas fans. Texas lost in football in both, and then Kentucky lost in basketball. They lost at Richmond home. It seems like Cal has one of these games every single year. I don't know if he intentionally loses it, but they lose a home game or they lose a neutral site game that no one anticipates, and it was the Richmond Spiders that got them this weekend.
I think it's just the youth and inexperience of a normal young Kentucky team that's turned over and not ready for. I hadn't looked at Richmond. I would assume they're loaded with juniors and seniors and upperclassmen. I'm just making an assumption without even looking at their roster. But that's generally what gets Kentucky in these type of games is a team comes in loaded with experienced guys that are older, bigger bodied, and it takes them down. So that's probably, without even just looking at the box score, just seeing the final score, that's what generally happens to Kentucky in these kinds of games.
News coming out of Baton Rouge, LSU football, that Terrace Marshall is apparently leading the program. This is according to Jordy Kakutta, who does the morning show for ESPN 104.5 Baton Rouge there. So not good news for Ed Ogeron, especially since they have the Crimson Tide on their slate.
And the hits just keep on coming.
Yeah, so that's something you do not want to happen if you're Ed Orgeron and LSU. Other news, DeJuan Mathis is apparently leading the Georgia Bulldogs. This was the guy that started against you first game of the season. JT Daniels has come in and played since then, along with Stetson Bennett. Daniels looks like he's going to take over now, but not really that surprising, especially he looks like he's at least third on the depth chart at this point.
And quarterback's been the difference between Georgia being good and great this year. They've had elite, great defense for the most part. They have not been very good at quarterback, and that's been the difference in where they've been. The difference in them beating Florida most likely, and the difference in them against Alabama as well.
I wonder, as far as college football and the SEC is concerned, if the two jobs that are currently open, being South Carolina and Vanderbilt, are those the only two jobs that remain open by season's end? And I'm not just talking about them not just getting filled. I'm talking about, will we see another SEC job pop open by the end of the college football season?
In the SEC or just in general?
In the SEC.
Well,
in this conference.
You wouldn't think it'd be the 3M schools in Arkansas, the four that went through transition last year. You take them off the board. They're not going to make a move. Alabama not going to make a move. Auburn would be one that you would put maybe on the radar a little bit. Florida not going to make a move. You just kind of Georgia not going to make a move. South Carolina's already made theirs. Tennessee, doubtful. Maybe a coordinator change there with Jim Chaney or something, but they're not going to move on Pruitt yet. Kentucky, no. I mean, you just kind of go through the list in your head. A&M, no. They're having too good. I mean, so you think about it. I would say no, other than if there was going to be one, I'd put my money on Auburn.
I would put my money on Tennessee if they lose to Vanderbilt. I don't think they would let Jeremy Pruitt go if they lost to, because they got Florida this weekend. That's the CBS game, and then they also have Texas A&M, if I remember that correctly. So I think if they lost to Vanderbilt, though, all bets are off as far as that's concerned.
I'd agree.
And you don't know what's going to happen with Auburn either. They lose to Alabama, not just lose, they get abused on the road in Tuscaloosa, which, listen, it's Alabama, so it's understandable, but you know the Auburn faithful want to compete a lot more than they actually did, and I just wonder what the deal – and I mean, you wonder what Chad Morris's future looks like, and I know it's painful to say, but you actually want him to either retain his job or get a better job so you're not on the bill for continuously paying him.
And you wouldn't think about mentioning LSU in this conversation, but of the off-the-field issues and the allegations and the investigation goes further south for Ed Orgeron, you could see that opening not for football reasons necessarily, but for other reasons away from the field.
And there's a lot of, and again, you and I were both under the assumption that there wasn't going to be many changes made throughout athletic departments as far as the college football side of things is concerned. Well, we've seen two head coaches in this conference already let go. You're wondering about Texas, what they're going to do with Tom Herman, maybe U.S. I mean, there's other college football programs, especially the fan base, when they see that two SEC programs have already let their guys go. The optics of that is, hey, well, they did it, so we can do it too. So I know it's getting hot for Tom Herman down there in Austin, Texas, and you wonder other big-time college football programs that aren't necessarily satisfied with what their coach has done to this point. You wonder if they make a move either mid-season or after this season as well.
You got to ask yourself, can you afford it? I guess South Carolina felt they could. Vanderbilt thinks they could. Obviously, Texas can afford to make a move if they choose to do so. All right, more coming up. We're brought to you by Gaston's White River Resort, 870-431-5202. We're moving into that time of the year where winter rates will start taking effect, so it's a great time to take your family the next few months and enjoy a great discount at Gaston's in December, January, February, into the spring months. A great discount. So if you're already planning a New Year's getaway, you're already planning a Valentine's getaway, if Gaston's is on your radar places to go, it should be. If it's not, because they got 80 private individual cabins and lodges. So if you're thinking about, well, I want to go where I can be socially distanced, away from crowds, hey, Gaston's is the perfect place because, again, all the accommodations are private and individual, and there's nothing more socially distant than fishing on the White River. So call them at 870-431-5202. Most of their cabins and most of their accommodations come with cooking, with full kitchens, so you can do all your cooking right there if that's what you choose, or the restaurant will be available as well. 870-431-5202. Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time every time.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
State sales tax paid on every vehicle purchased. Now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on every new Buick GMC and pre-owned vehicle. Now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You'll save hundreds, even thousands, but you have to buy before the end of the month. This offer does not apply to previously negotiated deals. State sales tax paid on every new and pre-owned vehicle on the lot at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off 5540 in Fort Smith.
In the mood for a top shelf night, 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge has your number. Sit back, relax, and enjoy select wines, top shelf spirits, and handcrafted cocktails in a rich, comfortable, sanitized setting with state-of-the-art air filtration. Indulge in one of their delicious appetizers, sandwiches, salads, or specialty items for carry-out or dine-in. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Stop by 906 Garrison Avenue in Fort Smith. 906 Garrison in Fort Smith. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith.
The bloodline of any modern business is their computer network, data storage, and supporting hardware. So who takes care of one of the most important aspects of your business? Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren can handle all your networking services like cabling, firewall, routers, and VPNs to hardware and software protection from virus and malware. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren, 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Did you know that you can get your car serviced or repaired without ever leaving your house? All you have to do is call Jody's Auto Service Center at 479-649-3399. Jody's will pick up your vehicle, service or repair it for you, and return it fully disinfected to your driveway. Pickup and delivery is free for jobs $75 or more. Jobs less than $75 can be picked up and returned for a $10 fee. Let Jody's Auto Service Centers handle all your service and vehicle repair needs. Call 479-649-3399. Jody's Auto Service Center.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dealing with a CPAP every night? The noise, the constant cleaning. Your wife telling you she can't take the noise anymore. Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith can help you with sleep apnea with a custom dental appliance that allows you to get rid of that annoying CPAP. Dr. Sparkman has years of experience and has treated hundreds of patients just like you. Call for your appointment today, 785-1419. That's 785-1419. Get rid of your CPAP with Family Dental Care of Fort Smith.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Bailey in the gun, gets the snap, gonna throw a slant in the air, incomplete, intercepted! Intercepted by Arkansas at the 22-yard line. The Hawks come out of there with it. Eric Gregory, I think, is the one with the football.
Follow the show on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine.
Want to talk about this Missouri football game a little bit coming up on the Morning Rush. You got to start on a good note in the Sam Pittman era. You got a new head coach for Arkansas, new head coach for Missouri. It'd be nice to start out on a high note. And that being said, you would be 3-0 if you won on Saturday against the new head coaches in the Southeastern Conference. We'll see what happens come Saturday afternoon.
You know, the holidays are coming up, and gift cards from Ouachita Farms are a perfect gift this holiday season. If someone on your list uses CBD products and you'd like to get them something that they're going to use this year, how about a gift card from Ouachita Farms? You can actually get those gift cards on the website at ouachitafarms.com. Arkansas company that makes all their products right here in Arkansas. Small batch made, lab results are verified and published on their websites. You can see all of that for yourself right there at ouachitafarms.com. The Owens brothers, they do a great job. In fact, if you're in the Hot Springs Village area, encourage you to stop in their store at 3958 Highway 7 North in Hot Springs Village. Hey, for more information or to order gift cards or any of their products, visit online, ouachitafarms.com. Use the code WPS15 at checkout. That's WPS15 at checkout for a great discount. ouachitafarms.com. Again, the code is WPS15 when checking out at ouachitafarms.com.
Missouri opened as a couple points favorite in this matchup. You would probably either have even money or you might be favored on a neutral field. And this is going to be, I think, a close football game come Saturday. You're down 3-8 in the series history, and Missouri has won 5 of the last 6. Now, these are games a lot of times where Arkansas has had the advantage and then just let it go at the very end. And Arkansas, if given the opportunity, needs to close this game out on Saturday.
Yeah, and, you know, we were talking with Tom Murphy just a few minutes ago about the importance of this game for some of these coaches, Sam Carter, Brad Davis, and most notably Barry Odom, who was the head coach there a year ago. You know, do these players maybe want to step up a little bit more for their position coach, perhaps, or their defensive coordinator, and, you know, maybe go a little further this week? Everyone should be rested, ready, healed up. Should be tired of losing this game. You know, like we were talking about with Tom, we're told this is a rivalry. Somehow you've got to win some of these to make it feel like a rivalry. One reason it doesn't feel like a rivalry, the series lately hasn't been very even. One of the things to me that makes a rivalry great is you're playing for something other than a fictitious made-up trophy, but the game has some consequences. I don't know when the next time Arkansas and Missouri is going to play that something is in the outcome of the game, like a spot in the division or a bigger bowl or something like that. But I know this series will never feel like a true rivalry until Arkansas starts winning some of these.
And that's on the onus of Arkansas, like you mentioned,
absolutely.
which is very important. And you mentioned the competitive edge that you're hoping to see out of these players, whether it's Brad Davis, Sam Carter, most notably Barry Odom. I wonder as coaches, and maybe they don't necessarily voice it, maybe it's just the players in the locker room and players-only conversations like, hey, we need to go win it for this guy or this guy or this guy. Because to say, like, I know coaches have to use the generic coach speak when it comes to, oh, this game's just like the same as it is any other. They have to say that continuously because you don't want to place more importance on one game than the other, because then that leads to preparing harder for one game. You want the preparation to be as diligent and as hardworking for every game. But to say that this game doesn't mean more to Barry Odom than any game on the schedule is laughable. Like, he was fired by his alma mater. To say that does not have an impact, and he might not necessarily tell the players that, but they know that. Like, if you were let go by your alma mater, like you're a relative, I mean, that like, when you think about the family aspect of going to school, playing football for a certain school, coaching there, and then being fired by that, to say this game does not mean more to Barry Odom than any other game, I think it's just false. Unequivocally false.
I don't know that you're going to get those words out of his mouth.
Oh, you're not, because we're not going to hear from him
this week. We're drawing a conclusion, but it seems like a pretty plausible conclusion.
And, I would think that, again, he's motivated. We've seen it this season. This defense has been motivated, most notably by their defensive coordinator. But I think you'll see even more firepower this week because of how much he wants to win this game. And again, you're not going to hear it publicly, but privately, I guarantee you this game means more than any other game on the schedule to Barry Odom.
And what did we spend all of the offseason talking about? How are you going to do against the M schools? Can you win 2 of those 3? That'd be a successful season if you could beat 2 of the 3 with Missouri, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Well, you've done that. Well, what a feeling it'd be, I guess, to some degree to say, in vindication to a degree, I guess, for Sam Pittman that everyone kind of laughed at nationally a little bit, that this is your coach, a guy that you hired that has no previous head coaching experience at this level. But, we all know the storyline there. And comparing him to Leach, comparing to Kiffin, comparing to Drinkwitz, and all these things we spent this long offseason doing. And if you go 3-0 against those teams, that's one more check mark on your side of the ledger. So that also, to me, is something that you're playing for, to go 3-0 against those teams that are in kind of equal footing. We did the same thing with Bielema and Gus. Gus got the better of that equation. Here's a chance to at least get off to the right start in the first year against all three of those schools.
And it is a Hot Take Monday brought to you by Wheels RV. You could legitimately say, again, if you want to throw out this hot take, that Arkansas has made the best decision based on year number one if they win on Saturday. And you could say even if they lose on Saturday, maybe that made the best decision for the school. But if you want a definitive statement after a win on Saturday, you could say, well, Arkansas made the best hire because Sam beat Eli, he beat Lane, and he beat Mike in the same year. 3 other head coaches that were hired in the exact same time period that your guy was hired as well. So we're bringing up the Barry Odom angle. This game also means a lot to Sam Pittman. Now, like Barry Odom, he's not going to speak about this publicly or not, that, hey, it's just another game on our schedule, it's a rivalry game or whatever. But if you look at it from that angle, this game also means a lot to Sam Pittman because that's a notch on his belt. Because whether Sam doesn't seem like a guy that is just so ingratiated within media and wanting to hear all these opinions and stuff, but to say that hasn't made his way to his television screen or his computer screen or his iPhone, that he hasn't seen what other college football people have said, that would feel pretty good if you're Sam Pittman looking around saying, well, I beat the guy that they said that this was going to be better than me. They said that Lane was going to be better than me. And like all these different people that said, oh, they're going to be better than Sam. They're going to be better than Sam. They're going to be better than Sam. And then Sam said, well, I'm now 3-0 against these guys. That's the opportunity that he has.
And it's year one. I mean, we really can't answer that question till 2-3 years in. But you can't be 1-0 till you win the first one, right? So so it doesn't definitely answer the question, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. Whether or not you hired the right guy out of compared to the other guys that were reportedly on your list. I don't think there's any question that Arkansas desired and went after Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach. I think there's definitely some validity to those two statements. So,
which Hunter Yurchek is like not gonna. He's just not gonna answer.
But I mean, there's some validity to the fact that those were 2 targets in Arkansas's coaching search. But I'm sure for Sam Pittman, somewhere deep down inside, and like you said, you're not going to drag it out of him publicly in a press conference. He wants to win a game on some level for that validation that you did hire the right guy.
Yeah, and it would be validation to this point. We know that college football isn't just based on one particular season. It's based on the tenure of that head coach. But it's hard not to argue that Arkansas didn't make the right move, especially when you went 3. And again, this is under the prospect if you beat Missouri on Saturday. Mm-hmm. If you went 3-0 against the Missouri schools, you also beat Tennessee, and then at least you were competitive against Alabama. I mean, that's a really hot start. And I'd say outside of a handful of people, that's a lot better start to Sam Pittman's tenure than many anticipated when it comes to Arkansas football.
Hey, is your home in Arkansas at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? They have a no-cost program to increase your comfort and to lower your bills. They have trained crews that do energy audits. It doesn't cost you anything. And if your home qualifies, their crews will return with measures that include attic insulation, LED light bulbs, weather stripping, power strips, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors, and a whole lot more. These services provided by OG&E are no cost to qualifying homes. So if you or someone you know could benefit from the home weatherization program, call OG&E today, 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741 for OG&E's home weatherization program.
Coming up in the program, I want to talk a little Felipe Franks and Brandon Allen. I think you saw some similarities there in both 2015 and then 2020. You're hoping to get some guys back for this game against Missouri. Also want to get into your Hog update on the other side. Hour number 3 on the way.
Thanks for calling Toyota. This is Jan.
Hi, Jan. I heard Toyotathon is on.
It sure is.
Perfect. I'm getting a head start on my list for Santa.
Well, we've got great year-end deals on Camry, Highlander, RAV4, Tacoma, and more at your participating Toyota dealer.
What else you got?
Let's see. There's also Corolla, Highlander, Tundra. Oh, and we have a great selection of hybrid vehicles. Camry hybrid, Highlander hybrid.
Perhaps I'm not making myself clear. What kind of toys you got? Video games, stuffed animals, sea monkeys, you know, the good stuff.
It's actually Toyotathon, not Toyotathon. We have great deals on vehicles, not toys. I'm sorry, sweetie.
Well, okay, then what can I get for $5?
Oh, well,
During Toyotathon, get $1,500 total bonus, or qualified lessees can lease a new 2021 Tacoma Special Edition for $199 a month for 24 months with $999 due at signing. Toyota, let's go places. Visit buyatoyota.com for details. Offers available in select states and end 11/30/20.
The all-new Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas wants you to get out and explore this fall. Wheels has the luxury brands you can depend on to keep you camping. Brands like Grand Design, Alliance, KZ, and the all-new solar-powered Vibe. And with a lifetime warranty on every new unit and a mobile service shuttle, you can relax and know that your RV will stay like new year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
If you have experience transporting frozen and refrigerated goods and want to be part of a trucking family with insurance and be home every week, you need to contact Brent Higgins Trucking. Since 1997, Brent Higgins Trucking in Mulberry has been proudly delivering to and from various areas of the United States, including but not limited to Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Brent Higgins Trucking, where you're a name, not a number. Contact them at 479-997-2366 or at BrentHigginsTrucking.com.
You can be the hero of the office. Just go to hitthatline.com and enter to win the Hardee's Lunch Bunch contest. Every week, one lucky listener wins lunch from your local Hardee's restaurant for up to 15 people at your job site or workplace. It's easy to sign up. Just click on the Hardee's Lunch Bunch contest button, give us your information, and you're entered just like that. Every Thursday, we announce a winner during halftime. Win free lunch for all your work buddies. The Hardee's Lunch Bunch from Hardee's, ESPN Arkansas, and hitthatline.com.
Every day, 22 of our heroes take their own life. The effects of military service can be too much.
I'll cover you. I'll cover you. Let's move.
You were ready to fight for them in war.
I got you. I got you.
Are you ready to fight for them now? If you know a veteran that could use a little help, call 1-800-542-1031 today.
Evans Body Shop would like to take a moment to say thank you to our community, friends, family, and crew. Thank you for voting us the best independent body shop in the River Valley for the 3rd year in a row. Thank you for supporting us and trusting us with your vehicles for the last 14 years. Thank you for your referrals and reviews that sing our praises. We truly appreciate each and every one of you that have helped build our business an excellent reputation. From our family at Evans Body Shop to yours, have a very Merry Christmas and a blessed holiday season.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Merry Christmas from our family to yours at Frank Rowe Furniture. For the month of December, all appliances on sale at Frank Rowe Furniture. French doors, side-by-sides, and top-mount freezer refrigerators, dishwasher 5 cubic foot and 14 cubic foot upright freezers, electric coil top and smooth top ranges, 4, 5, and 6 burner gas ranges, 100% made in the USA Speed Queens, Conservators made by Whirlpool, Hot Point by GE, washers and dryers. All appliances on sale at Frank Rowe Furniture. Best seats in the house.
Are you looking for a new place to call home? Whether you're looking for an apartment, duplex, townhome, or a house, Trinity Multifamily has you covered. They even have options in surrounding states, from Texas to Michigan and Kansas to Tennessee. If you're looking for a new place to call home, make Trinity Multifamily your first call at 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
Stop in today at Randall Ford, where you'll find over 150 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. We have what you want at the price that will fit your budget. We have 35 certified pre-owns. We even have over 25 vehicles under $10,000 and no payment for 90 days. All used vehicles go through a 115-point safety inspection. Plus, we will deliver your new purchase right to your front door. Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or online 24/7 at randallford.com. Home of the lowest price guarantee.
Do you like paying rent or mortgage every month? Of course not. Thanks to real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell and Chambers Bank, we're giving away free rent or mortgage payments for a year, up to $15,000. Now that's a good start to 2021. Go to hitthatline.com and enter the free rent or mortgage for a year sweepstakes now through December 14th. Complete contest rules are at hitthatline.com. Let us pay your rent or mortgage for a year, courtesy of Chambers Bank, real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, and ESPN Arkansas. ESPN Arkansas weather.
Sunny and breezy today. Our high this afternoon into the low to mid 40s with winds anywhere from 25 to near 30 miles per hour. Mainly clear and cold tonight, low 20s. Sunny, not as cool on Tuesday. Our high right around 55 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Hertz Car Sales. Make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard. Call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com.
KERX, Paris Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3.
You made comments about Arkansas last year, upset a lot of Arkansas fans. Are you still calling it Arkansas?
Right now, I'm calling it that team down south because I'm still trying to figure out how to pronounce it. It is a difficult state to pronounce. There are a few states out there like that. But I am working on it. I'm taking speech classes. Hopefully, by that time this year, hopefully I'll be able to pronounce that correctly.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
You're causing a major disturbance on my time.
If I'm here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time?
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station. Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but there ain't but one Razorback. Number one.
This is The Morning Rush.
Borderline erotic.
With Ty Richardson.
Sunshine. That's cool. I can dig it.
And Tommy Kraft.
Do I look happy?
What's wrong?
Lloyd!
The Morning Rush starts right now.
That just happened.
Oh, boy.
Had a little malfunction with the microphone in the studio. I guess
Ty
I'll just
broke the
hold
microphone.
like this.
Here, let me read this while you fix that. Think you can fix it?
Yeah, you want to turn my mic off?
Yeah, I'll turn your mic off so you can fix the microphone. That.
Those who are not watching our video stream, I actually pulled it off her hinges.
Yeah, your brute strength.
Yeah,
all right.
can't help it.
Let me tell you about Will's RV. I'll turn that off while you put that back together. Get Jenkins' help because you're probably not strong. You're strong enough to break it, not strong enough to fix it. There you go. He can't do it without you, man. The all-new Will's RV in Northwest Arkansas. Once you get out and explore this fall and in the winter months that are ahead, great camping ahead. Brands like Grand Design, Alliance, KZ, and the all-new solar-powered Vibe. And with a lifetime warranty on every new unit and a mobile service shuttle, relax and know that your RV will stay like new year after year. Can I keep reading or I need to read slower? Will's RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 on 549 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Will's RV. I'm telling you, you give him an iron ball with a rubber mount and a sandbox, he could tear it up. I mean,
we're getting close.
Unbelievable. Nice equipment, the best money can buy. And he just breaks it. Yeah, you got to plug it back in. All right, you going to break anything else this hour? Anything else you'd like to break?
Hope not. So I can't help it. I've been working out, I guess. It's all that. It's all the.
So he just pulls the microphone down to talking to it, and he just
busted
apart.
It came apart. So.
All right.
Oh man,
Glad we got that.
I guess I just won't work out today. I'm putting too much good weight on. I guess.
12-ounce curls.
Yeah. All right, Carl Lavaca, going to the phone lines. Welcome in, Carl. You're on the Morning Rush.
Hey guys, I know it's been a while since I've called. I just want to touch a little bit on some of the points y'all have been discussing, but about the UNT game this past weekend. Yeah, we looked a little slow, but that's expected. I mean, we got like one guy returned from last year in Desi Seals. And, a lot of our shots weren't falling the other night. We saw some guys that didn't get minutes in game 2. They got minutes in game 1. Granted, we beat the School for the Deaf and Blind in game 1. But, I think Moses Moody, granted his shots haven't been falling, but that guy's been the best defensive player on the floor for us besides Connor Vanover in the past 2 games in terms of just being active, being in passing lanes, just guarding the ball well. Once that shot starts to fall, he's going to be obviously a big-time contributor for us. I think Justin Smith is the glue for our team as well. He can go get a bucket when we need to. However, Arkansas really needs a guy right now to step up. Hopefully this comes about middle of the season, hopefully before SEC play, that when things break down, we have someone that can go get a bucket. Right now it looks like it's going to be J.D. Notae.
Hang on, Carl, are you concerned? Because I hear concern in your voice.
No, I'm not really concerned. I'm standing outside, so I'm kind of cold.
Because it sounded as though you were trying to cover up for some things that you were concerned about at this point with this basketball team.
There's one thing that I am concerned about. It's, Connor Vanover is great, 7'3", can't teach 7'3", but I'm afraid that, when we start to play teams that, got some really skilled bigs that might be able to take him away from the bucket, that might be when we're in trouble. I don't know how many of those are on the SEC as of right now. However, that's my only concern. And North Texas isn't a bad team. Teams like North Texas are beating bigger programs all over the country right now.
2 or 3 years in a row they've won 20 games. I mean, I know they're Conference USA, but
I'm not sure on that.
I don't care who you are. You winning 20-plus games, you're decent.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so last thing, the Felipe B.A. argument, I think the biggest difference between the two is that, Brandon Allen had a fantastic senior year, but he was behind arguably probably the best O-line in Arkansas history. I mean, 2 or 3 of those guys went to the league. Ragnow was first-round draft pick. And Felipe's, I think, has the better arm. He's very accurate. I think accuracy-wise, they're probably the same. Decision-wise, in terms of comparing Brandon's senior year to Felipe, I'm not saying Felipe is a bad decision-maker, but B.A. didn't turn the ball over very much as a senior. And so that's a hard comp. I'd probably have to go in terms of how they've been at Arkansas. I know the season's not over, but I think I would probably take Brandon Allen. I know that might be a controversial opinion. However, last thing about Mizzou, I think this is going to be our easiest opponent all year. I've been saying it. It really sucks we got to miss Catalan, or we won't have Catalan for the first half, but I think this will be our easiest opponent of the year thus far. Yes, they've been playing well, but we'll be fully rested. Hopefully we don't have any more COVID cases pop up. Thanks for having me back on, guys. I'll talk to y'all later.
That's how it's done on a Hot Take Monday. He rifled through him right there. Attaboy, Carl. Speaking of hot takes, I saw this over the weekend. Someone actually put out on Twitter the idea that the only reason that the SEC switched these games around to get the Alabama-LSU game in and move is to screw Arkansas by taking Catalan out of the first half of the Missouri game because he was more valuable to Arkansas in that game than the Bama game. And that's the only reason this entire scheduling reshuffle occurred, was to put the screws to Arkansas. I'm like, wow.
That is a hot take.
You are really –
that is one that I do not agree with.
You are really out there in the tinfoil weeds on that one for me.
And Carl Lavaca brings up an excellent point about Jalen Catalan not being able to participate the first half against the Missouri game. And if you had to pick out one player on this roster that might have more of an impact than Felipe said, I would say Jalen is probably the only one. I don't think there's a single.
I don't think you can say Burks.
You can argue me about that. I don't think there's a single player on this roster that has had more of an impact than Jalen Catalan. Felipe's right behind him. You could say they're neck and neck, but I think Jalen has slightly more of an impact than Felipe does, and that is the only player I think that would be missed more than Felipe Franks.
Quietly bringing up somewhere in the top 5, I wouldn't argue it, 1 or 2, is Jonathan Marshall. And he's just a guy that doesn't get as much credit as he deserves, particularly when Arkansas is sending 3, dropping 8. The pressure he's been able to put on a lot of teams has gone unnoted sometimes. And the quarterback hurries he's created, sometimes that he doesn't even get the stat for. But I would put Jonathan Marshall up there in the top 2 or 3 on defense, and probably doesn't get the credit that he deserves. They're in the middle of the nose guard spot.
You're missing several defensive linemen against LSU. Jonathan Marshall was not one of the guys out. I can only imagine the lack of pressure. He didn't get much pressure in that game regardless, but I can only imagine the lack of pressure you would have gotten if Jonathan was not able to participate. But hopefully everyone will be back for this football game. You have had a little time, a little breather. Hopefully there won't be any COVID cases, but as we see, it's a very fluid situation, not just with Arkansas football, but college football as a whole in 2020.
Hey, we're brought to you by World of Wireless. They're celebrating 25 years this month. Last day to kind of get on the 25-year celebration. You get a $100 Visa gift card and a Google Home Hub. That's a $100 value, so it's $200 in free gifts when you make the move to Dish. I made the move to Dish recently as well. Love the technology. Got a Netflix button right on there. You can program the remote. It's got the Google Assistant on it, so you can speak into your remote. It will search out and find exactly the program, the game, whatever you're looking for. You can record up to 16 programs, games, whatever at one time without any conflicts. Tons of recording power and space. You're going to love the technology that Dish has. You can watch live TV from your phone or tablet or laptop. Anywhere you go, you can control your DVR to set a recording if you forgot before you left home. That is awesome as well. 877-305-DISH. 3 TVs in the house start at $74.99 a month. Can't beat the price either. 877-305-DISH for WOW World of Wireless.
Want to go out to Owasso, Oklahoma, home of the Rams, and welcome in Robert to the conversation. Robert, you're on the Morning Rush.
Good morning, guys. Glad you're on this morning. It helps to drive. A couple things. Vanover. I mean, he ain't the most athletic, but he sure has some high basketball IQ. And I like the way he plays the game. The other thing was, I don't know if Nick Saban could have won at Vanderbilt this year after losing all the players and all that stuff. And number 3, is there any way we can get Bielema off the beginning of the show with his little statement about borderline? Be nice not to hear his voice every morning.
You don't like the borderline erotic comment?
No, I just don't like hearing his whiny voice. So if we could get that off of there, it'd make the day a lot better. And I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
All right.
Good call this
Good
morning,
hot takes there on
Robert. So, on the note of Connor Vanover, what I've noticed about him is when you look at his statistics, again, we mentioned how he had 6 blocks and he impacted another of other shots, but only had 2 fouls in the game in 34 minutes. It's going to be very important for him. One of the things that irritates the dickens out of me is when you have a guy that's above 7 feet or 6'10", 6'11", and they jump a lot of times when they're just better off just standing flat-footed and just holding their hands up and impacting the shot. Well, Connor, you saw several times there were the North Texas post players would try and get him up in the air and pump fake, and he just wasn't biting. So I really appreciate watching, as Robert mentioned, high basketball IQ where you're not jumping. Just use your length, use your girth, use your strengths to your advantage, and Connor was able to do that on Saturday.
He doesn't have a lot of width, though, to him. I mean,
he
turned.
not.
What is it? If he turns sideways, you'll lose him. He's like a zipper, you know. So he's not. And his arms and legs, his limbs are so long. It seems like it takes. Maybe it's just an illusion. It seems like it takes them a while to get moving. So he doesn't appear to be very fast when he does get to going, whether it's on a rebound or whether it's just in transition or whatever he's doing. It seems slower than the other guys on the floor, but maybe that's just because he's so much bigger and his arms are longer and his legs are longer that it just maybe it's an optical illusion. I don't know. You mentioned staying grounded. I think that's good. Got to remember, though, if you're in that restricted area, that arc underneath the basket and you're a secondary defender, you got to come off the ground if there's contact or it's an automatic foul. And you see that's another part of that basketball IQ. You got to know when to get off the ground and when not to based on where you're defending the floor at.
And just stay vertical the best he can. But excited to see what he can do. Again, the game time announcements as we get into our Hog update. The game time announcements we'll let y'all know in just one sec.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Oh, yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush.
So your Hog Update, we'll start with the game times that have been announced. The Arkansas Razorbacks will take on the Missouri Tigers this Saturday, 11 a.m. Now, it was previously scheduled to be played then, and now, once again, once it gets pushed back a little bit, postponed, now we have confirmation that it's once again 11 a.m. this Saturday.
Let's see, they're going to put Alabama LSU again at 7 p.m. Eastern. Or is that right? It's 7 Central. Am I right? 7 Central. 7 Central.
I don't know the game
it's
time,
prime
to be
time. Well, Alabama LSU is going to play at night. they're going to have a two-game doubleheader with CBS, so there'll be a lot of things kind of slid around Arkansas and Missouri at 11 a.m. this Saturday. So that's how that's going to go.
Double checking on that, the game time as far as that goes. But, yeah, just a good slate of games. Yeah, 7 p.m. is what, like you called it. So
I know 7. I just couldn't remember if it's Central or Eastern.
Eastern time, yeah.
Eastern time.
They tend to do that as far as that goes. But that's the game time for Saturday when it comes to Arkansas football. Basketball, 8 o'clock against UT Arlington on Wednesday night, and then 5 p.m. against Lipscomb. So we'll do kind of a makeshift post-game, pre-game show on Saturday. We'll have the Arkansas football game, and then us, and then the Arkansas basketball game. So it'll be, again, these Saturdays to me are a lot of fun because you get both football and basketball. I know they're not both games aren't at home, but you still get to watch one on, you listen on the radio, one on the TV, and then if you want to go to the game, you have the opportunity to do that as well.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to go to the Arkansas basketball game and not see the football that night? Or do you stay home and you kind of get 2 TVs going and watch both? That's a tough one.
Well, game's at 5, so I think you have plenty of time. I mean, you'll get back, depending on where you live. I think, to me, like I would just probably, if I end up going to the game, I'll probably end up just staying up in Northwest Arkansas, and I'll just come back and watch the LSU game. But I guess it varies on where you live inside the state.
Yeah, you'll miss half the afternoon games and part of the evening games. So I don't know. I enjoy college football enough. I'll probably try to stay home and watch the Arkansas game on one TV and college football on the other, although I don't think Alabama-LSU is going to be very entertaining on Saturday night.
So the 2:30 game is the Florida-Tennessee game, which I think is going to be a laugher. I think Florida has a good chance to just blow the doors off Tennessee. And then Auburn and Texas A&M, that's the 11 o'clock game. So your eyes will be kind of focused on Arkansas. I wish they'd put that game later. And that's 2 ranked teams between Auburn and Texas A&M. So,
yeah, I mean, right now they're just worried about getting all these teams 10 games, trying to get everybody their 5 home games, and get CBS all the games that they're due. I mean, that's what Greg Sankey's trying to figure out how to do. And I promise you, this LSU-Bama game was part of the advertising packages that they had sold their advertising. We're going to get you in this game, no matter how lackluster it may be at this point. That was one of the big selling points in the beginning of the year for CBS, and they're going to make sure that that game happens.
I hope it's at least competitive and close. One of the things that we mentioned earlier in our SEC update, and I'll re-mention it again, this is according to Jordy Kokutta, who does radio in Baton Rouge. Terrace Marshall is opting out of the season and preparing for his future. So that's something that if you're at Ogeron and if you're LSU, it's not the news you'd want heading into Alabama.
No, absolutely not. All right, that's your Hog Update. It's brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Make a hot spring spa part of your day. Boy, these cool mornings with temperatures starting out the day in the 20s. A hot spring spa be a great way to start your day. Get the most out of every day. A better night's sleep, reduce stress, ease muscle pain. Just feel better all around with a hot spring spa. They have several models that are saltwater that you can convert those to saltwater models, easier to care for. 28 different models to choose from with different seating arrangement, different jet packages, different entertainment packages. There's a lot of options to choose from with hot spring spas. They're the most energy efficient because they're the best constructed. And they'll show you all about that when you stop in and see them in Springdale or in Fort Smith, or read more online at burtonpools.com. Hot Spring Spas from Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Biggest news of the day, or probably from the weekend, is Vanderbilt has let go of Derek Mason. And one of the things that Jordan Rodgers, who is former Vanderbilt quarterback, former SEC network analyst, said that Barry Odom should be a guy that Vandy should consider. I don't know if Mr. Odom would consider leaving Arkansas for Vanderbilt, but just something to keep an eye on as both the South Carolina and Vanderbilt jobs are open. Hogs opened as 3-point favorites, 2-point favorites, depending on where you look at, against Missouri this weekend. Now, they started out 5-0 against the spread, or was it 6-0?
6-0.
6-0 against the spread, and they're 0-2 in their last 2 matchups. So not only you'd like to see them win on Saturday, you'd like to see them cover the spread as well. Going to the phone lines, welcoming in JW, who's in London, Arkansas. JW, you're on the Morning Rush.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. I just got a couple things. How did we manage to get Stretch Armstrong to play center for us on the basketball team? How did Muss do that? I'm just amazed. The other thing I'm curious about and wonder about your take is, will Muss get teed up more or will Pittman get more flags thrown by the striped shirt people? I'm just curious. What do y'all think?
I think Muss had, 4, 5? Appreciate the call, Jada. Muss have 4 or 5 technicals last year.
I think you're more susceptible in basketball this year because the arenas are more empty. There's not as much noise, so every comment is heard.
That's a good point.
I was sitting, I'm not kidding you, upper deck, corner, top row, up against the chain link the other night, and you could hear things from the floor. So I was as far away as you could get, and you could still hear things from the other end of the floor being said. So, yeah.
Is that going to cause coaches to change what they say?
I think in some cases, yes. But I think sometimes just the emotion of the game and the raw emotion takes over. So, how many? I mean, you just don't see that many 15-yard flags on football coaches, period. Not just at Arkansas, but how many have you seen this year in any game?
I think
don't see very many.
I think Sam Pittman has been irate at the officiating a couple times, and to my knowledge, he hasn't gotten a flag. Now, the one that I remember distinctly was in 2016 against Alabama. There's a horrendous holding call called on Arkansas, and it cost the Razorbacks a touchdown. And Brett Bielema walked, and I'm forgetting the official at the time, but he walked down the field and ended up getting a 15-yard penalty. And I'm trying to think. That's the only one that I remember in football. Now, we've seen plenty of texts over the years in basketball, Mike Anderson, Musselman, Pelfrey, whoever. But I like you're saying, it's easier to get a technical foul in basketball than it is with football. There's a lot more leeway, it seems like, with football.
You saw the North Texas coach. He wanted one the other night late in the ball game, came out on the floor inside the three-point line, was complaining about a no call, and he basically was begging for a technical foul based on the way he was behaving.
And and there's a debate of what happened in the Kentucky game last year. I'm under the impression, whether Cal says it publicly or not, that he intentionally got himself tossed, and it helped. I mean, unfortunately for Arkansas Razorback basketball fans, it helped Kentucky go on that run. They went to that zone, and Arkansas was just never the same after that and fell to the Wildcats. But sometimes coaches intentionally say stuff, and I wonder how many extracurricular words you'll pick up this college basketball season, especially with attendance not being what it usually is.
It will be a factor. Hey, Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. So if you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction, you want to be home at nights, you want to work with a company that has great pay, great benefits, a great team environment with growth opportunities. Apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Coming up, we'll talk about what we watched on Saturday in the Arkansas-North Texas game. Also want to come back to the Felipe Franks-Brandon Allen comparison. Brandon did not get the win for the Bengals on Sunday. They fell to the New York Giants 19-17. It was interesting to see him and Brett Bielema play against each other. Bielema on the D-line coaching and B.A. playing for the Bengals.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Eagle's Nest is coming in hot.
Make a hot spring spa part of your day-to-day routine and discover what it means to get more out of your day. Burton Pools and Spas is your local hot spring spa dealer. Hot Spring Spas, the #1 spa brand, helps reduce stress, ease muscle pain, and helps you get a better night's sleep. Invest in yourself and get more out of each day with a new Hot Spring Spa at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Hi, I'm Bill Bolton of NWA Gold, Silver, and Coins. I started in this business in 1972 at an auction house that specialized in antique and estate jewelry, sterling silver, and coins. In that time, I've seen gold go from $35 an ounce to today's price of $1,683. I want to talk to you about the coins you may have inherited and how important it is to deal with someone who understands coins and this market. In 2011, we had a mother and daughter come into our store and sell us a lot of jewelry they no longer wore for $3,300. The daughter then pulled out an 1850 California $10 gold piece. Jeremy offered her $900 and she accepted his offer. He then advised her to have this coin graded. She did, and she sold it for $36,000. If you don't know what you have, please come see Jeremy in our Bentonville store. Don't sell it in an auction or an estate sale and get less money. What's in your safety deposit box could be worth thousands. NWA Gold, Silver, and Coins, Bentonville, Fayetteville.
Wave Rural Connect is bringing state-of-the-art fiber internet, TV, and phone service to your home. Get amazingly fast fiber internet as low as $49.95 per month. TV packages start at $32.95. Fiber phone service starts at $29.95. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC to find out if we're installing in your area. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
State sales tax paid on every vehicle purchased. Now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on every new Buick GMC and pre-owned vehicle. Now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You'll save hundreds, even thousands, but you have to buy before the end of the month. This offer does not apply to previously negotiated deals. State sales tax paid on every new and pre-owned vehicle on the lot at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off 5540 in Fort Smith.
This holiday season, our troops overseas will be missing their loved ones even more than usual, so support our troops by sending a care package this season. This message courtesy of River City Realty, serving the area with pride. For all of your realty needs, call Air Force veteran Glenda Edwards at 479-883-9564 or her partner Shelly Blaylock at 479-461-6626. River City Realty is reminding everyone to please support our troops by sending a care package.
Hey, this is Ted with Ed Walker's Drive-In. For more than 70 years, Ed Walker's has been the place to go for the best French dips and hand-patted hamburgers in town. Blue Plate Specials served Monday through Friday, and we're still the home of Fort Smith's only 5-pound hamburger. We're open 10 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. Call ahead for pickup, 783-3352. Ed Walker's Drive-In, 1500 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, where the legend lives on.
Divorce is never easy. Many times problems continue to arise long after the divorce is over. If you are dealing with a high conflict custody or visitation issue, you need an attorney that handles those specific type of cases. Call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partners for immediate assistance with your situation. Kevin Hickey Law Partners, able to handle high conflict custody cases all over the state of Arkansas and other states. Check out kevinhickeylaw.com or call 479-434-2414 in Fort Smith and 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dealing with a CPAP every night? The noise, the constant cleaning, your wife telling you she can't take the noise anymore. Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith can help you with sleep apnea with a custom dental appliance that allows you to get rid of that annoying CPAP. Dr. Sparkman has years of experience and has treated hundreds of patients just like you. Call for your appointment today, 785-1419. That's 785-1419. Get rid of your CPAP with Family Dental Care of Fort Smith.
Always get more at Orr.
We always put the customer first at Orr Chevrolet in Fort Smith. Since 1924, the Orr family of dealerships has grown based on one simple principle. Give the customer more money for their trades and give them a lower price on their new vehicle. It's a simple concept, really, but one that very few dealers honor anymore. Hey, we know you paid a lot of money for your vehicle, and Orr Chevrolet wants to pay you the maximum amount for it today. Then we'll give you an awesome price on a new Chevrolet. But we're not done giving you more. Included with any new vehicle sold. Orr Chevy will also give you a lifetime powertrain warranty, 2 years of free maintenance, and free car washes for life. So come get a lower price and more money for your trade today at Orr Chevrolet on Auto Park Drive in Fort Smith and 24/7 at OrChevyFS.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You always get more at Orr.
ESPN 95.3.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Crabb.
Frank's going to throw into the end zone. Got a man. He's there. It's caught. Did he keep his feet down? He did. Touchdown, Arkansas. Touchdown, Arkansas. Traylon Burks. And the Hogs are on the board.
Streaming live at hitthatline.com.
One of the best throws that Felipe Franks has made this season was on the road in that Texas A&M game, and some of his best games have been on the road so far this season. That's a conversation we'll come back to in just one sec, but do want to touch on this Arkansas basketball win over North Texas here on the Morning Rush.
Arkansas and Missouri, 11 a.m. this Saturday. Now, Joe's Grill and Cantina will be open Saturday a little bit early, ready for you to get your seat, watch the game. They'll have half-price apps and taps. Dollar Tacos back for this Saturday. You you two back on for tacos? I mean, we had to postpone it because there was no game. What do y'all want to do about this?
I'm standing firm on the belief that Ty had the game postponed on purpose because he was too scared
It is
to
a
go
hot take
man-to-man,
Monday.
mano-a-mano on the taco contest.
That $1 tacos
I've been
on
sitting
Saturday.
here ready to go. I've been sitting here ready to go.
All right. Well, we can get this cranked up again this Saturday. $1 tacos at Joe's. You can enjoy those crispy beef or chicken tacos during the game, plus the half-price apps and taps. Maybe we'll have a little throwdown at halftime. What did you call it? Chaos in the
Cantina.
Chaos in the Cantina this Saturday at Joe's Grill and Cantina.
Live on pay-per-view.
What do you think we could get for that on pay-per-view?
$100. It's me and him.
$100.
I'm worth $75.
How many of those you think we could sell outside of your family for $100?
Oh, good point.
That's the better question to
we
ask.
We can make $200.
So we mentioned the Vegas odds of Arkansas being an underdog in this football game upcoming on Saturday. Jenkins, what do you think the Vegas odds for me and you are when it comes to this taco contest?
Wasn't it BE a couple weeks ago who said that over under was 3 in favor of me or something?
So you're a minus 180.
Minus 180. Yeah.
How many?
We just need to get an unbiased third party to determine that line.
So let me ask you something.
Okay.
There's no handicap or anything, but I weigh 178 pounds. How many pounds do you have on me?
178 pounds.
At least 178.
Okay. So and I want to state that going into it, that regardless of the
skinny guys are always the ones that win the eating contest.
I don't know if I'd call myself skinny, but
Compared to me,
I am at a disadvantage heading into this taco.
What disadvantage are you at? I mean, other than the excuse making. I mean,
wow.
Because you look at Joey Chestnut, you look at all. And it's like I can't.
Joey Chestnut's not skinny. Like what?
Well, he's not.
He ain't
not. He ain't a big guy. Like, I mean, the big guys never win these eating contests.
I'll vouch for him that if this was because I think if we're going to do the same deal we did. We'll start at the start of halftime, whenever halftime buzzer starts, and then whenever halftime ends. That's
as soon as that kickoff hits.
As soon as they tip off and in, that's what we're going to go.
All right.
If this thing was 5 minutes, 3 minutes, he could probably beat me with that just for speed eating. But if I can get into a rhythm, which I can, it's over with.
It's kind of like shooting threes. That's why you're a better three-point shooter.
Damn right.
Once you get in a rhythm,
now we're just
lights out.
Like Rodney Clark behind the three-point line. I'm like Pat Bradley.
Yeah.
And he's Courtney Fortson.
This is it's called Hot Take Monday, but we're not. It's not. I don't know what the phrase that we're using it now, but it was like he probably eat more than me. That's probably factual, but then we just took a completely new turn when it came to.
Well, we'll find out Saturday at Joe's Grill and Canteen.
But
we'll see if one of these guys may bow out before then. Who knows?
You bring up basketball, though. We did get to watch North Texas fall to the Razorbacks on Saturday night. And, again, the game time is the exact same as it was this past Saturday. They'll take on Lipscomb at 5 o'clock. One of the things I really noticed about this basketball game, outside of Connor Vanover standing out, was Justin Smith. Now, J.D. Note started to get into a rhythm offensively as well, but Justin Smith has the ability to guard every single player in position on the floor. He can also get to the rim. They had him in Mason Jones type set plays where he was just tasked, hey, go make a play, and he did that. I think he's improved his shooting a little bit, his athleticism off the charts. There was a sequence where Moses tried to throw him an alley-oop, and Justin wasn't expecting it. He still laid it up anyway. But this is a guy that I think the Indiana transfer that you're really excited about watching progress the rest of this season.
Yeah, and I'm just interested to see, is the lineup the same for this next game? Is it Justin Smith, Jalen Tate, Vanover, Seals, and Moody? I think, or do we see a different mix of guys? I think you're going to see Moody and Seals in there for sure, and I think Justin Smith's probably nailed down a spot. Did we see, some different guys in there? You'd think Vanover, because of the rebounding edge that he apparently gives you, getting 15 boards and there were 16 boards, that he's going to be in there for UT Arlington. So I'm interested to see, is there a deeper run into the bench? Is there a different starting lineup? Have we settled into 5, just 2 games in? What does this team look like, on the third game versus the first 2?
Just got a text from Nick Mason, former Razorback. Hopefully we'll get a chance to catch up with him in the next couple weeks as we get closer and closer into basketball season. And one of the things he mentioned to keep an eye on, and I've been thinking this for a while now, is just kind of the freshmen, how they're getting acquainted with this basketball team and how many minutes they're playing. If I was Jalen Williams, I'd be disappointed that I didn't see a second on the floor against North Texas. And Devo Davis being the same way. I think Devo Davis is probably the furthest behind of every single one of the new freshmen. But it is going to be a part of this college basketball season with Arkansas that you're going to need to keep an eye on. How does Eric Musselman keep those guys happy as freshmen? Because you don't want to see any of them transfer out, but the way college basketball is, there's a possibility of that occurring.
I'm going to tell you this. If you didn't play in game one and your team won by 80, you'd really be asking questions. So everybody got to play in game one. If you didn't see the floor then and everybody did, you'd really be upset. Hey, do you have sleep apnea and you're tired of dealing with your CPAP machine every night, tired of the noise, tired of the constant cleaning, tired of trying to travel with that thing, and that's a hassle too? Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith can help you with sleep apnea and getting rid of that CPAP. They build you a custom dental appliance that allows you to get rid of that annoying CPAP machine. They have years of experience and have treated hundreds of patients just like you. So call for an appointment and find out how they can help you. 479-785-1419. That's 785-1419. Get rid of your CPAP with Family Dental Care of Fort Smith.
Coming up, we'll get into the best and worst of the weekend, and then we will talk a little Felipe Franks, little Brandon Allen on the other side of the break.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts. When you're looking for outdoor power equipment, head to R-Track, where we've got the area's best selection of tractors and mowers. Check out our side-by-side UTVs, Argo Amphibious XTVs, and Hammerhead go-karts. We rent professional quality equipment and service everything we sell. Stop by today. Get the R-Track advantage.
Off I-40 at exit 58 at 219 East Taylor Road in Clarksville. You can check out their inventory online at rtrack.com.
Brinkgrove Furniture at 405 Fort Street in Barling is your made-in-the-USA furniture, bedding, and appliance store, proudly supporting American jobs and industry. Come in and see Aaron or Tyler about made-in-the-USA Speed Queen washers and dryers, furniture from Eads Brothers, Catnappers, Southern Motion, Best Home Furnishing, and Union Furniture. In-store no credit check financing available. Find them on Facebook or at frankgrovefurniture.com. Brinkgrove Furniture, best seats in the house.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland. I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Your friends at Arvest Bank would love the opportunity to review your current loan. With Arvest's competitive rates, you might be able to lower your monthly payment, shorten the term of your loan, or both. Arvest services 99% of the loans that originate, so most of the time you can deal with any of our local branches for all your mortgage needs. Please give us a call at 479-573-1127 or download the Home For Me app to your mobile device and search for a Fort Smith loan officer. Arvest Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Oh my gourd, folks. Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources. This month, I want to say thanks. So I'm on a mission to make car buying easy as pie and help you snag a sweet deal on one of our Rath Road Ready vehicles, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. This month, you could drive a nicer, newer car and save up to $4,150. That's a lot of dough. So if your old ride is flaky, crusty, burnt, or rusty, don't let it squash your happiness. Trade it for a nicer, newer car now, even if you still owe money, and save up to $4,150. Plus, my For the People approval process makes financing your nicer, newer car easy as pie. Keeping the car you have? Get it ready for winter in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Deals this delicious won't last long, so visit us today at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Fitness will always be about keeping a routine. And the best routines in life will always make time for enjoying yourself. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
New Bud Light Seltzer?
Yep.
A hard seltzer with a hint of fruit flavor.
Yep.
Can I try one?
Yep.
That tastes great.
Told ya. Bud Light Seltzer. Unquestionably good. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer. IRC Beers. Beer in Texas. St. Louis, Missouri.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch and dinner. Open 7 days a week, both on the open-air patio and air-conditioned dining room for your safety and comfort. River City Bistro is locally owned and open weekdays 11 to 8, Saturdays 10 to 8, and Sundays 10 till 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
Do you like paying rent or mortgage every month? Of course not. Thanks to real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell and Chambers Bank, we're giving away free rent or mortgage payments for a year, up to $15,000. Now that's a good start to 2021. Go to hitthatline.com and enter the free rent or mortgage for a year sweepstakes now through December 14th. Complete contest rules are at hitthatline.com. Let us pay your rent or mortgage for a year, courtesy of Chambers Bank, real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, and ESPN Arkansas. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Fowler going to go deep. Got one-on-one coverage. It is caught at the 20. And walking into the end zone is Hamilton. 71 yards.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from Tuning.
So Jenkins, JW texts in. He says, Ty, you can slam tacos with anybody regardless of size. So he has confidence in that ability. And in case you're just hopping in here, we were planning on doing this during the Missouri game, and now we're actually going to do it with the game being postponed and played this Saturday at 11 a.m. at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Jenkins and I will be going head-to-head with a taco eating contest.
Yeah, I just checked with Wade. He's going to ask Joe if it's okay. So Wade's checking with Joe right now. They said, if it was only Ty, they thought they had enough food. They didn't know if they had enough taco shells. If you were actually going to compete.
In their defense, they haven't met me yet.
They don't know. They're a little concerned with how much you were going to
exactly.
eat. So they're going to have to see if they could really go through with this. Since, they checked when they saw you in the graphic. They said, I don't know.
My God.
I don't know about this. Hey, we're brought to you by Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game. If you own apartment complexes, condos, rental property, you've made a great investment. Now you make another great decision by letting Trinity Multifamily help you maximize your return by managing your properties. They have full-service property management, marketing, leasing, sales, all the various services you need to make your cash flow. So take the hassles and the frustrations out of ownership and call Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817, or read more online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
We've talked about this a little bit. So Brandon Allen got a chance to start for the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday against the Giants. Did have a touchdown pass.
Play action. Allen wanted Bernard. He wasn't open. He'll throw for the end zone and crossing to make the catch. It's T. Higgins with his 5th touchdown catch of the year.
Watching this game kind of brought me back to the Brandon Allen days of 2015 and how good he was in that season. Now, he did have a really superior, spectacular offensive line in front of him and was able to put up really good statistics, but I just never felt like he was fully given credit for what he was able to do at Arkansas, and I think there's some similarities to what Felipe has done in 2020 as well.
Yeah, and you look at the sack numbers, and it makes me think about the comparison between Felipe and Austin Allen and the number of sacks Austin took that year. You got to think about the offensive lines, and there's really no comparison between the offensive line Brandon Allen had with some guys that had a shot and played in the NFL, and really the offensive line this year, and you wonder how many of these guys will, they may get some free agency opportunities, some tryouts in camp, but, how many of these linemen are going to have true NFL careers? The sack numbers are, 27 at this point?
Brandon
That's similar to what Austin had.
Mm-hmm.
Half of what Brandon Allen had for a season, roughly.
Brandon was sacked only 14 times
There
in
you go.
2015, which led the SEC as far as the least amount of sacks given up.
That was on 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
This is we're at 8 games,
And-
we're at 27.
And you have to think about Felipe. Like, there's certain games, you mentioned the 12 games. 3 of those games, they did lose to Toledo that year, but were stat patters. You could just, Brandon got a lot more statistics out of those games. Ryan Mallett, Tyler Wilson also had some games where the competition wasn't the same level that the Felipe has had to play again. Every single opponent that he's faced off against this season has been SEC caliber. And I know there's a difference between Georgia's defense relative to what you'll see on Saturday in Missouri. Still, that being said, the SEC-only competition is also a big part when you're talking about the comparison of Franks, Allen, Mallett, Wilson, on and
Wasn't
on and
that they lost to Toledo and Texas Tech, but beat 5 SEC teams?
5-3 in the SEC, correct.
I mean, you just think about if you'd have won one of those other games, that's one of those years that you're just pulling your hair out, and you think about the end of, 17 when they lost the Belk Bowl and Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri at the end of the season, the Belk Bowl to Virginia Tech. You win those 2 situations, and Bielema is, I don't want to be still your head coach, but he'd have probably survived at least another year, and who would have seen what would have happened then. But it's those little situations, those games that were just razor thin is what made the difference in staying and going.
At the time when you lost to Texas Tech, you were really confused. There was a guy named Patrick Mahomes who you never heard of. Seeing what he's doing on Sundays, especially yesterday where he threw for, I think it was over 400 yards. I know Tyreek Hill had 3 touchdowns. You're a little, okay, that makes sense. But losing to Toledo that year was unacceptable. So
they had a really good defensive line. I remember that game. They were doing some things to really cause confusion. They were stemming or shifting right at the snap and really caused that offensive line for Arkansas some problems in that ball game, and that was really what the game boiled down to. Arkansas couldn't run the ball.
Trivia question: who was the head coach of Toledo at that time?
I don't remember.
Matt Campbell.
Okay.
Same guy that won on Saturday against the Texas Longhorns. Anytime the Texas Longhorn loses, it is always fun. So that's I just felt like the comparison was needed as far as when you're talking about Brandon and Felipe. And I just think it's sometimes when we have comparisons between legends, like there's always going to be this LeBron-Michael debate. Sometimes you just need to sit back and appreciate greatness. Now, while Felipe and Brandon Allen are on the same level as LeBron James and Michael Jeffrey Jordan, there's the comparison that you don't necessarily need to make when it comes to that. You just need to appreciate what's in front of you. And I think with Felipe, and especially if they can get a win on Saturday, it's definitely that case. All right, let's get into the best and worst of the weekend.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
We the best.
This is the worst.
It's time for the best and worst of the weekend.
All right, best and worst of the weekend on a Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV. All the top brands like Grand Design, Alliance, KZ, and the new solar-powered Vibe, and with a lifetime warranty on every new unit at Wheels and their mobile service shuttle. Relax and know that your RV will stay like new year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
I think my best of the weekend was probably just being in attendance for the Arkansas basketball game. I always enjoy going to Bud Walton Arena, and while it won't be the same atmosphere this college basketball season that we've seen in years past, it is fun to see it like in person. I'm a guy, maybe I'll change in 20 years, but I'd really like to still attend games in person, even if it comes to missing out on certain college football games, certain college basketball games that I could be watching. When it comes to Arkansas stuff, I like to see it in person if given the opportunity. So my best of the weekend was going up to see them beat the North Texas Mean Green on Saturday night.
You know, as a father of 2 daughters, you always want to feel like they're going to have every opportunity in the world that I've had, you've had, or any man's had. And seeing Sarah Fuller become the first female to participate in a Power 5 football game was a cool moment. I don't think it's going to set a trend or open or break some kind of glass ceiling that we're going to see a lot of female football players. And I'm sure Derek Mason had a good idea that if he lost that game, he was going to be fired. And this was something that he could do on his way out to help break somewhat of a glass ceiling, if you will, and let her break a barrier. As a father of two young women, and particularly a 9-year-old that has a lot of athletic tendencies and has the opportunity to maybe do some things athletically, this was just a cool moment to see, and did she come out and boom it into the end zone? Did she come out and kick it, from 47 yards on a field goal attempt? No, but that's not the point. The point is she did something that's never been done before. The point is it gives young girls out there that are maybe playing soccer or playing some other sport a reason to maybe go talk to their high school or their junior high coach or something, and maybe be a part of another team environment that they haven't thought of before. So breaks down another barrier, and as a father of two girls, that's a pretty awesome deal, I thought. So
when it comes to what happened again on Saturday, I found it annoying that there was people that's like, oh my gosh, the next Adam Vinatieri, or oh my gosh, that girl barely kicked it 30 yards. Like, there's no middle ground for anything anymore. And just to see like people on one side saying, okay, that was incredible, that's the best thing since sliced bread, and the other side saying that was the worst football I've ever seen, worst kick I've ever seen. It's like there's no appreciation for just being in the middle anymore. You have to have I know it's a hot take Monday, but you can't just be happy. It has to be an incredible, unbelievable, over-the-top moment that getting comparisons all over the place, or it's who cares. It's not in the middle.
Taylor's 23, so she's already seen a lot of what life does and doesn't have to offer. But Abigail at 9, I don't want to have to be a father that says, well, you can't do this or you can't do that because you're a girl. You're a female. That's not something as a father I want to have to, because I'm going to tell you, she's got the resilience right now to say, that ain't true, because she's just that stubborn like her father. She's just going to go break that down. She's got that personality, that makeup. So, I'm glad to see that, there are more and more opportunities. If that's something she wanted to do, I don't know that that's going to be something that she would ever want to do necessarily.
At least it's there.
But at least it's there. And, and maybe some of our old tendencies and being set in our ways are starting to come down a little bit.
All right, what was your worst of the weekend?
Not having an Arkansas football game would be one of them. Just it didn't feel like just a bye weekend. It just had a different feel, like you said. I mean, it just felt like a weekend where something wrong was missing from the weekend. So I guess a weekend without Arkansas football would be my worst of the weekend.
It was, and
I know that's low-hanging fruit, but it just felt like I'd forgotten something all weekend. So
it's especially Thanksgiving, where I know the Friday after Thanksgiving was typically when you played LSU, and then the Saturday has been when you've taken on the Missouri Tigers, and it felt like something was missing this weekend. And so I agree with you. Now, my worst of the weekend, I'm not a huge boxing fan, but I was disappointed in the result that it was a tie. Like, of all the anticipation, and I know that Jenkins had talked to us several times this past week about it, and I was just excited. And I know they're older, but to me, it didn't live up to the billing. And maybe I was just overhyping what I thought I was going to see. But when you it ended in a draw, and I mean, I'm not a boxing analyst by any stretch of the imagination, but I did feel like that Tyson won that fight.
Well,
and they just
called
it a draw. Yes, they just called it a draw for money purposes.
Okay, because I didn't watch it. Why did you think he won it? I'm asking because I didn't get to see it.
Tyson won in every conceivable category that matters into winning a match. So I'm not sure why they did the draw. Could it be for a rematch? Who knows at this point?
I didn't pay the $50. I'm just asking.
But for a guy, for two guys that, like Roy Jones hadn't boxed in 3 years, Tyson hadn't boxed in 15 years, for how good those guys looked. And for a lot of guys, like I didn't get a chance to watch it. I'll try to find it on the YouTube or something. But for a guy that's never seen Tyson box before, I think that was worth the $50 in itself for youngsters like me and Todd, just to say, hey, he's not in his prime, obviously, but to say that you've seen Tyson box, that's worth it to me. So, I disagree with you a little bit, but I see where you're coming from.
30 years ago, when Iron Mike was in his prime, there was no more dominant an athlete in any sport ever. Or at least it felt that way. I mean, it was just a foregone conclusion. When he fought, he was going to win, and he was going to. It wasn't even worth getting the pay-per-view because he was going to beat somebody in the first round. Like, how long will it go into the first round was the only question.
Because wasn't the statistic I saw every single one of his wins resulted in knockout or close to it?
Till Buster does.
So, yeah, that's something. All right, for Tommy Kraft, Matt Jenkins, I'm Ty Richardson. Good show headed up for you tomorrow on a Tuesday.
Make a hot spring spa part